John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Well, the pain and suffering of losing in Philadelphia finally came to an end yesterday. Why not? Both teams get the win. Sixers with the win over the Pacers. Flyers with the win over the Knights. Man, did both teams need it. They both needed it. Good morning, John Kincade. How are we today?
That was a good way to go to sleep. I said I slept almost directly to the alarm this morning, and I think part of it was because of the fact that I went to bed with a good feeling in my head.
That's probably will actually help. I would imagine it does. Like you're not upset or thinking about collapses because the Flyers had lost 5 straight.
Flyers
going into
had
that
lost
game?
5 straight. Had a 6-game losing streak, but a pointless streak in 5. And that was a big win last night in Vegas. Maybe you can split the next 2 on the road trip and come home. That's a good road trip, and then maybe a build off it before the All-Star break comes up. I mean, the Olympic break comes up.
Yes, that would be nice. And then the Sixers, I get it, the Pacers stink, but they needed a win after the 2 straight losses to the Cavs. They get the win yesterday. And, of course, the happy news during the day, I understand that you're not always pro-individual accomplishment, especially when your teams aren't all that great, but it was nice to see Tyrese Maxey named a starter for the Eastern Conference All-Star game, something that I still kind of can't believe is the case.
I'm proud of him. No, I'm proud of him. MVPs don't do anything for me.
Right, I got you.
Like, that doesn't do anything for me. Like someone saying to me, boy, let's talk about that MVP season for Embiid. Does nothing for me.
Right, you won championships.
I want to. If you tell me about the playoffs that year and everything like that, like I can get excited about it.
But it was nice to see Tyrese Maxey get that.
I can't believe it either.
I mean, look, when he gets drafted 21st overall, shout out Mike Muscala. When he gets drafted 21st overall, I don't think anybody expected this ever.
I liked his game in college.
Sure.
But I got to tell you, I thought he was a situational type player, a cog in the wheel. I did not see him ever being a star.
Tyrese Maxey in college shot 28% from 3. He couldn't shoot. 28%.
And I thought he'd be a cog in a wheel that could develop his shot, that on a good team, he could be one of your 4 guys that does something. I never thought he could be one of your maybe 2 guys that leads a team.
Yeah.
And so, Tyrese, congrats to you. Cheers.
Shooting 40% from 3 this year, leading the NBA in minutes per game at 39.4 minutes per game, averaging 30.2 points per game, 6.7 assists per game, and how about 8 steals last night for Tyrese Maxey?
And that's incredible.
Because defense is not necessarily his forte. He tries to jump the passing lane, sometimes a little too much. Sometimes it actually hurts the Sixers, but you saw 8 steals from him yesterday. Good day for the Sixers. Good day for the Flyers. Good day to wake up and not be miserable. So let's talk about the Eagles to change that, shall we?
Well, maybe we won't be miserable. Maybe there'll be something where we can look forward to and we can find a silver lining.
Well, you know what this show is all about. This show is all about fixing the Eagles. Because that's what we are paid to do. The Philadelphia Eagles are constantly listening to Kincade and Salciunas from 6 to 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, to hear our solutions for the football team. That's what they do.
I can assure you that they listen, because I've either gotten enough dirty looks or I've gotten enough questions about things that we've said.
I'm sure.
So I can tell you, I assure you that they listen.
So yesterday, we did our little post-show promo for today. And if you were listening throughout the day on 97.5 The Fanatic, you heard it. And I believe that I have the number one thing the Eagles need to fix for the 2026 season to get back to sort of where we want it to, and it has nothing to do with the offensive coordinator. Well, maybe it does, kind of, because I do believe he's part to blame for what's going on. John, the number one thing this Eagles team needs to fix is all the drama that they're dealing with, because there's way too much of it. There's way too much. And it started with A.J. Brown during the season, but it wasn't just A.J. Brown. There's weird stuff about Jalen Hurts. There's weird stuff about A.J. Brown. Every time things seem to go poorly, leaks from the coaching staff seem to come out about this guy doesn't want to do that. This guy doesn't want to do that. Don't blame this person. Blame that person. And I just feel like there's been a lot of finger pointing. And I understand when you have expectations and you have high standards for yourself and you don't even come close to those expectations and standards, people are going to start pointing the finger and blaming everybody. It's got to stop. Like, this is one of those situations where, unfortunately, Jeffrey Lurie's going to have to once again put together people in a room and tell them to cut it out. And it's not the first time he's done it. He did it with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts a couple of years ago. He had to go to the freaking practice field this year to tell A.J. Brown to freaking stop with the tweets and the Instagrams and the janky rondos, right, and the Twitch streams. He had to go out there and say, can you freaking cut it out? This team is the defending Super Bowl champions, and my captain is whining about the offense.
Breaking sports news from 97.5 The Fanatic and...
What?
I didn't hit anything. I legitimately just went off.
Oh.
Is that Ghost in the Machine?
Yeah,
Okay.
it goes to the machine.
Let's try to regroup here.
No, but I'm saying is you're saying Jeffrey Lurie had to do that. When you're talking about had to go down to the field and do that with A.J. Brown. The thing is, though, he really didn't. He went to the field.
Yes.
But what did he do? He coddled A.J. Brown. He treated him with kid gloves. He did the, A.J., he didn't take the stern fatherly
Well, he did get him to
routine.
stop doing all the nonsense.
But
publicly.
he's doing like the hug routine and the thing. Instead of doing dude, I pay you a ton of money.
Sure.
You're supposed to act like a professional. Stop acting like a teenager on the internet. You're a grown man. Start acting like that. So that's sort of disappointing me. I get your point, though, and your point is right. It's got to stop.
It's got to stop. I mean, there's way too much of it.
Does it stop? Does it only stop by divorce? Does it only stop by saying he's gone? Does it only stop by saying, or can anyone get tough in that building?
So here's the thing. I was going to save this for later, but hell, you asked me, is it only going to stop with the divorce? Is the divorce the best thing? Because if you believe look, I understand. Let's get this out of the way first. I understand there are a lot of Eagles fans that don't believe anything that's ever said poorly about the Eagles. Right?
Oh, there are.
We do this every day. We react to reports, and a lot of the times our reaction to the reports is, why are you talking about this? This isn't real. This is fake news. Somebody's just doing this for clicks. None of this is true. Guys, let's face it. Gals, let's face it. A lot of it's true.
No, it's
All right?
true.
It's
well,
true.
who's saying it? I mean, I can tell you, it depends on who's saying it. There's some of the content aggregators that I don't believe.
Absolutely.
Someone like Jeff McClain puts his name to it. I can tell you I believe it because he goes in he's there every day.
Yeah.
And these guys, they would be shunned.
Absolutely.
They would never be able to show their face in that locker room if they were going in there making up stories.
Tim McManus is not making up stories. Joe Santoliquito, who a lot of people
not making up
ripped
stories.
for the Carson Wentz story. If I was Joe Santoliquito, I would walk around the city of Philadelphia with two birds up sometimes because his house was literally vandalized. They got the wrong house. They vandalized his neighbor's home over an article about Precious Carson, and then it ended up being completely true.
Joe was completely correct.
And now people are upset that he's talking about A.J. Brown, how A.J. Brown was requesting a trade back in week 3. Oh, how do you believe that story? I believe it. Especially, how can you not believe it? With all the drama that happened throughout the season, how can you just say none of this is true?
Joe has had a long history of getting it right.
Absolutely.
And Joe is a guy who I know, well, since the 9th grade, he has integrity. Yeah. So I would put my stamp on integrity on him.
So you ask, is the best thing a divorce? I don't know if that's true. Because here's another thing that I'm going to bring up. The Mike Silver report that we talked about yesterday, how a lot of people are upset around the Eagles that they seem to coddle Jalen Hurts. They're afraid to tell him and coach him up, which I think that is wrong because I believe that's just somebody that's upset in-house. I'm not saying that Mike Silver wrote a quote and made something up.
No, I believe Mike Silver heard that.
Right. I think whoever is saying it is sour grapes. Because all we know from Jalen Hurts' career is that he is not afraid to be coached. He's not afraid to be yelled at if the appropriate time calls for it. We've seen Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, forehead to forehead at one point, and it didn't end anything. They've won the Super Bowl since that moment. So I don't really necessarily believe who it's coming from, but I believe that somebody is saying it. That same report mentioned that A.J. Brown is not the only person that's frustrated with the quarterback. So if you get rid of AJ, just like, hey, we got to end this, get rid of him. What if there are people, much like the Nick Castellanos situation with the Phillies clubhouse, that go, Well, not everybody feels that way about AJ.
Well, I truly believe, just using the Phillies example, I can speak from confidence that there are many people in the Phillies clubhouse who would not want to see Nick Castellanos go.
Right.
Now, that's from a personal standpoint.
Sure.
I can't speak to what they think of his skill set as a player. But as a personal standpoint, if there was a bar fight,
more people would have Nick's back.
Harper was on one side and Castellanos was on another, I think there's many that would, jump on Nick's side of the fight. And that's a personal thing.
So I don't know about AJ.
But
what if Devontae?
No.
I'm not trying to make things up. What if Devontae doesn't like the way the offense is run
but
through
the thing
Hurts?
is,
I don't know.
Okay, would you and this is something that I know because I know it of you and Connor. You don't blame AJ for his frustration.
No. I agree with a lot of his frustration. It's just how he went about it.
And we don't blame him either. So none of us blame him. But one thing I do blame him for is making it public.
Sure.
Because to me, that's how a child acts. That's not how a grown man acts in a business relationship. That's not the whisper down the lane crap. That's not it. I would much more respect a guy if he's so frustrated if he just came out and said it.
Yeah.
Put his name to it and said it. I would so much more respect that. Now, I would also consider it to be, wow, that is like dropping the bomb. You're dropping the nuclear bomb, but you're also not acting like, the kids at the middle school lunch table. You're handling your business like an adult. And to me, the Eagles absolutely did not handle their business. Some of them did not handle their business like adults, and other Eagles have had to try to squash the fire all year long.
So I think the number one thing this team needs to fix right away is figure out how to get past this drama, because there's way too much of it, and it felt like all season long. We joked about it yesterday, all my Eagles, all my children. We did a segment on it. Like, it's also kind of serious. Like, if we could put the jokes aside, when I'm hearing complaints about the quarterback and it's clearly coming from the coaching staff, that's wrong. Like stop. Enough of this texting Diana Rossini. Enough of this. Because one of the things that we have had so much pride for the Eagles about, and how proud we have been about the Eagles, has been they've been pretty tight-lipped over the years. Nick Sirianni, one of his best traits that we have talked about over the years, is that he has been able to keep a lot of things in-house. During that collapse in 2023, there wasn't a bad story until the day of the Buccaneers game, the playoff game, right? Like, throughout the collapse, we didn't hear anything. Everybody spoke like a man, right? I remember Fletcher Cox spoke, Brandon Graham spoke. The messaging was always different, but there was no whisper down the lane. There was no anonymous sources. The day of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff game was when Tim McManus wrote the article that Jalen Hurts did not see eye to eye with Nick Sirianni when it came to the play calling and the offensive mindset. He sided more with Brian Johnson. And then Brian Johnson gets fired a couple weeks later. And then there's the weird Sirianni-Jalen Hurts stuff, right? But they squashed it at camp. Whether you believed it or not.
But it was real.
With the golf cart and Big Dom's driving the golf cart. Whether you thought that was just, let's put our smiling faces in front of the cameras. It was real. They tried squashing it. They win the freaking Super Bowl later on that year. This year, since week one, I felt like we were complaining about something that wasn't necessarily on the field half the time.
And the problem that I had with it all is that they were 4-0.
Yeah.
They were 4-0. Is that you at that point have to say, we are winning, but there's stuff that needs to be corrected. The only thing I agreed with of the griping and the grousing all year long is when A.J. Brown did it publicly, is when he stood there publicly at his locker and said, we keep talking about the fact that this stuff's going to get corrected. But if we don't correct it, it's not going to work, and then it's going to kill us in the playoffs. By the way, A.J., he's not Nostradamus. He was exactly correct.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. There's nothing wrong with doing that as a player. There's nothing wrong with doing that as a captain, with speaking up and saying, this isn't good enough. I want this team held to a higher standard, because I think A.J. holds himself to a higher standard. I think he holds himself to a standard but his play this year, I would love to have heard A.J. at one point lead with the I. I could play a lot better this year.
Sure.
I have not played my best this year. I have not exactly dove for balls that I could have potentially caught. I have not exactly played at the highest level this year. So we all need to raise our level. Instead, the A.J. Browns and the people who want to whisper down the lane are pointing fingers.
Well, and it's not just A.J. Like the Jalen Hurts not wanting to run the football thing.
Well,
I swear that's coming from somebody in the coaching staff. And Jalen Hurts does need to run the football.
Okay, who do you think? Okay, it's coming from someone in the coaching staff. Who the hell do you think did that?
I don't know. Kevin Patullo is doing a lot of talking, it seems.
That's it. Kevin Patullo. We already know from 2 documented sources that went on the record that they heard it from Kevin Patullo's camp or Kevin Patullo. So Kevin Patullo is there going, he's facing heat, and he's throwing players under the bus. And whether that's right or not, and Kevin may be right or not, that tells me I've got a child in a man's job. I can't have you. I can't have you. Because everybody can point fingers at somebody when things aren't going well.
All I know is there was a time where this Eagles team was very tight-lipped. I see Renee in our YouTube chat. The number one thing to fix is the drama. Well, that should be easy. Stop talking and peddling the nonsense. Easy peasy. They didn't stop talking all year. There was talking all year. Whether you're talking about us, about talking about it, again, it's our job to react to what's coming out of NovaCare, where it seemed like every single week there was some new nonsense with this football team. And I got to look at Nick Sirianni, because that was one of the things that we credited Nick Sirianni for many years. He was able to keep everybody together, keep everything hush-hush. The Chauncey Gardner-Johnson story, do you guys remember this? The week of the NFC Championship game last year that he started a fight at practice and not a single person heard about it?
No, it got down.
We only knew about it because Chauncey Gardner-Johnson talked about it after they won the Super Bowl. That's how hushed they were last year, 1 year ago, when they went to and won the Super Bowl. That is a major story that nobody got a glimpse of.
And it's one of the reasons why nobody was upset that he was exiting the building.
Sure.
One of the many reasons.
That's besides the point.
No, but I'm saying is, though, it was quiet.
Yeah, it was quiet.
It was quiet. The thing is, I believe people start talking when they feel that they're not getting listened to. And that is part of it. Or they feel like they've got a rat. And Kevin Patullo's there talking to people, and it's documented because people directly attributed commentary on podcasts saying, talking to Kevin Patullo
right.
or hearing from Kevin Patullo. That, to me, if somebody feels that their boss is being a rat to them, they're going to be willing to be a rat to their boss.
Yeah.
If you feel like you've got a great boss, you feel like you've got a boss who behind closed doors can take you out at the knees, but publicly will have your back, you're going to have your boss's back. And it's just the way that they go about their
32 in our YouTube chat. Chunas and JK, you guys should be smart enough to notice that these stories are coming from staffers that are clearly friends of KP. All right, then you got to get rid of them.
No, they should go.
These stories
no, I think they're
were
coming
detrimental to the Philadelphia Eagles this year.
No, 32. If that's Steve Carlton, by the way, or someone who is a Steve Carlton appreciation, my brother's one of them. It could be him. I would say this, is that I think it's KP. I think they were coming from Kevin Patullo. And I think he's already going to be out. Get him out of the damn building.
Even though Nick wants him around.
I want him out of the damn building because I don't know how that wasn't addressed. And somebody should ask this. How do you have a coach talking with other people like that and giving stories about your players?
So we have to look at Nick for this, right? Because Nick Sirianni's the guy that's supposed to be this great culture guy, and I believe that he does. I believe that he is a good culture guy, even though so do I. Even though this year was a bit of a mess, I still believe that Nick Sirianni, great culture guy. I'm not going to tell you that he's the best offensive mind.
No.
But great culture guy, great leader. Very interesting report from Jeff McClain. He has his great podcast, Uncovering the Birds. Obviously, we know that Jeff does a great job covering the Eagles for the Inquirer. And take a listen to what Jeff McClain had to say about Nick Sirianni's job status following the 2023 season and into the 2024 season.
As we all recall, it took forever for Howie and Nick to have that end of season press conference. Again, as it became increasingly clear, and I've since understood, is Nick's future was in doubt.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey was certainly considering moving on at that point. So, there's history here. And Jeffrey has become increasingly impatient when it comes to his head coaches. And in fact, when they got to with 2-2 to start the season, and there was that bye there, as I've since now understood and have reported, Nick Sirianni's job was in peril. And, he had to make a lot of changes, and because Jeffrey was going to possibly fire him.
How crazy is that the bye week, where a lot of people wanted him fired.
Yes, there was a lot of people talking.
I didn't want to fire him midseason. I wanted him to let him play out the year. But there were a lot of people. There were people on the station. I remember Kevin Cooney saying, hey, they should fire Nick during the bye week because the season is still young. You have too much talent here. And this was coming off of the historic collapse the previous season.
I gave a text yesterday to someone that would have potentially been in the know, and I said, if that story is real, who would have taken over? And it would have been Kellen Moore. I was told it would have been Kellen Moore. That he would have been the guy that would have been the guy, which is interesting. I would have thought Vic Fangio.
Unless he just wants to be a DC. Who knows?
I don't know.
They got to fix the drama first and foremost, in my opinion. What do you believe is the number one fix for this Eagles team? If it's not the drama, because I know there's some people complaining about that, you can text in at 610-632-0975. Call in. You can YouTube in. Number one fix that you think the Eagles need to do this offseason to get them back to where they were last year. Now, coming up next, a lot of this drama is centered around A.J. Brown. And the report right before the weekend from Joe Santoliquito was that A.J. had been requesting trades since week 3. He joined Unfiltered yesterday to talk about his report. You'll hear that next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers and Flyers bounce back. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers finally got back in the win column last night as both teams found victories for what felt like the first time in a long time. For the Sixers, it was a 113-104 win over the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Maxey, 8 steals in the game, including this one on a great call by Tom McGinnis.
Into the left corner, Maxey steals the ball. A career-high 8 steals. The Sixers are going to beat the Pacers. Maxey taking over like an all-star superstar.
As heard here on 97.5 The Fanatic, and yes, all-star. Tyrese Maxey was also named an all-star starter yesterday, so a great day for the young Sixers guard. The Flyers beat the Golden Knights 2-1 out in Vegas. Travis Konechny 2 goals in the game, including the game winner on a shorthanded opportunity. In college football, Indiana took home the national championship last night with a 27-21 win over Miami. The Eagles are still in the hiring process for a new OC, but defensive backs coach Christian Parker is getting interest for DC positions. He'll interview in Green Bay this week. We'll talk to Scott Lauber coming up at 8:05 for the latest on the Phils offseason. Jimmy Kempski of Philly Voice at 9:05. Amy Fadul from 8 to 10 a.m. This update is brought to you by Barbera's on the Boulevard. New year, new car. Cherokees and more Cherokees. $199 down, $199 a month. Is Barbera the best? Boy, I guess. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic.
This hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
National championship game took place yesterday. Indiana beat Miami. There is a left tackle for Miami that I don't know when he gets drafted. He was a junior college kid for 2 years before going to Miami and starting all of this season. I'm not Andrew DeCecco breaking down, draft order, especially in January. That's not my life.
We know he is, and we know he
absolutely.
will be. We know he will be for us.
There's a tackle for Miami. His name's Markel Bell. 6'9", 345 pounds. And they ran a screen pass yesterday, and he had a one-on-one where he had to block Pons, the cornerback that a lot of people have eyes on for the Eagles. He's 5'9", 170. Imagine that freight train coming right at you.
Nope.
Unbelievable.
No, because I think I would pee.
Yeah.
I got to be honest.
You would probably, I could see you trickling.
No, I think there'd be a little bit of a trickle. There'd be something.
By the way, in case you're wondering, in context, so he's 6'9", 345. Jordan Mailata's 6'8", 365. How is somebody that big? I don't think that exists. I don't think that's real.
The weird thing is the size is what you say. To me, it's the speed with which they move.
Jordan Davis at the combine, I remember him flying in the 40 time. You're like, that doesn't seem possible.
That's the thing that to me always just makes me go, how are they moving like that? It's amazing.
Like my first thought is I can run away from that guy. And then
no, you can't.
No, I can't.
No, you can't.
That guy will catch me like a cheetah and destroy me.
And then knock you to the ground.
All right. Number one fix that I think the Eagles need to do this offseason is to get rid of the freaking drama. And one of our comments on YouTube from D Flyers was, isn't that what Sirianni is basically all about? And that's why I wanted to play that clip from Jeff McClain from his podcast, that he was walking on shaky ground after the 2023 season. And during the bye week, Jeffrey Lurie was not totally against moving on from Sirianni. Now, fortunately, they didn't do it. He shaves the head. There's the weird post-game press conference with the kids
after they almost blow the very. So we think about this. He knew that he was close to losing his job,
and then he pulls that act.
Then they go out and almost lose that game to the Browns.
He could have been fired.
He maybe thought that he was being fired that day.
Yeah.
And then he brings his kids to the press conference and does that whole
to soften
nonsense.
The blow.
I mean, seriously. Now we know. He was on edge.
Yeah, and he survived.
He survived, and by the way, he did a great job.
Yeah.
He did a great job of stabilizing and getting stuff together at that point.
And then they won the freaking Super Bowl. But the question is, what happened this year? Because this year there was no stabilizing. This year the drama started right away and early, especially with number 11, A.J. Brown. So the article that came out on Friday that people, hey, believe whatever you want to believe in. All right, I understand that there are people out there that go, this story isn't real. I don't believe it, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I choose to believe what the people that spend a lot of time and effort writing these stories, talking to people. These aren't something that I don't think Joe Santoliquito woke up Friday morning and said, I'm going to write an article on A.J. Brown wanting to get traded.
No, Joe researched this article for a while, obviously, because it was very well sourced and very well done.
But I get it. It's like it's a negative story about the Eagles, so people choose not to believe it. Just like people chose not to believe the Tim McManus article the day of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff game in 2023. They fired Brian Johnson a couple weeks later. There was beef between Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, a lot of it over that. So these stories aren't fake, is the point I'm trying to get at. So here was Santoliquito yesterday. He joined Unfiltered, and they asked him what was like the number one reason why AJ wanted to be traded, and this was Joe's answer.
More so, I think, because of the quarterback. I mean, that was coming back to me. And the other thing that was kind of frightening that was also coming back to me is, and this delves into the OC situation, is that it may not all be on Kevin Patullo, the Eagles' offensive problems. The Eagles' offensive problems may also fall on number one. So, but no, I mean, basically, I think the issue is, having a quarterback that can get him the ball more frequently.
And see, this is my problem with AJ. And again, I love the guy, and I wish that there was still this honeymoon phase, and he could continue to be the number one wide receiver of this football team. His complaints is because of the quarterback, probably more so statistically, right? That he's not getting the ball the way that he wants it to. And so he has his own personal wants when it comes to football. It goes back to the post that you read and ultimately spot on.
And it was
after the Super Bowl.
Right after the Super Bowl, Connor, you and I went back and forth on this. And at the time you disagreed with me. And I think now in retrospect,
sure,
it's been proven I was completely correct. All he cares about is his stats. The Super Bowl wasn't enough for him. The Super Bowl, winning a championship, wasn't enough for him because he didn't have enough stats. He didn't have enough numbers. His numbers is what matters to him. He wants numbers.
The crazy thing is he got numbers literally 2 years ago.
Seriously, 2 days after a Super Bowl, he's like sort of subtweeting, complaining about the fact that, yeah, Super Bowl didn't do much for me because I really want to get, I want better numbers. That to me really bums me out. And because I think so much of A.J. Brown and his talents.
I know.
And by the way, every time I've been near him in his presence, he is a magnanimous, electric, engaging personality.
Every
He's a
reporter,
really great
John,
dude.
every reporter still says there's no beef between Jalen and AJ.
No.
It's a football professional related issue. And, look, maybe he has his sights on Canton, and he does not think he will get to Canton by playing with the Philadelphia Eagles statistically, right? He got the Super Bowl ring, but not statistically.
You know what I'm wishing on him now? And I've said it to you off the air.
Go ahead.
I'll say it on the air. And Connor, I'd love to get your thought on this because I say it to Andrew off the air. I've said it probably 3-4 times the last 2 weeks. I want to find the worst team and send them to. I want the worst team that offers us a draft pick, the best draft package. I want A.J.
Yeah, you're not trying to just do him right. You're trying to.
I want the best draft package that benefits the Eagles, but I want it to be the absolute worst franchise possible.
Yeah,
I want him to have a crappy quarterback so he can complain about that, and he can complain about a fan base that doesn't give a crap and play for a team that isn't playing for anything. And that's what I wish, because this gift of playing in Philly and playing for a fan base that cares about everything 365 isn't enough for him. It isn't enough for his absolutely massive ego.
I get that. I don't think you're remotely alone in that feeling. I don't have that in me. Like, that's just not who I am with anything. So I'll never feel that way about it. Like,
that's why you're one of the kindest people I know.
Petty.
He's one of the kindest people I know. That's why I say.
No, if you're Orlando Scandrick, sure. I want only bad things for you. But, like, not for a guy that was part of a Super Bowl winning team. But you brought something up there. In this city, how much we care and how much we focus on the Eagles. Like, that's why I disagree with the premise of this being the fix. Because I do not believe, on principle, that the Philadelphia Eagles as a franchise can exist without drama. Like, I don't think it is physically possible in this city for this team to not have drama.
But you would agree it was more this year.
Absolutely.
And it was every day. And it was a new report. And we had to read between the lines of what people were saying or what they were not saying. And then we had to figure out why this person isn't talking and why that person isn't talking. And it was all freaking season. It started with the banner night nonsense.
Sure. And remember, Connor, what you're saying, too, is the problem is that if it's not created by the team, it's not created.
Right. People
yes
people
no.
think
what
I
do you
don't
mean?
understand why people think that we do.
No, wait a minute though. You say yes and no. Tell me the one that is created by the media.
Well, it's not the media. It's the media. It's the fan base. It's the team. It's everything all together. In a city like Philadelphia, there's such a spotlight. Like, when was the last year the Eagles didn't have drama? Whether it was team created, whether it was perpetuated by outside sources, whatever. Well, like, the year they win the Super Bowl, you got a dude reading a book on the sideline. The head coach is shaving his head, bringing kids to press conferences.
Well, now we know why both of those things happened.
Right. But
we now have the explanation. By the way, both of them created by those individuals.
I know. I'm not trying to place blame on anybody. I'm just saying the whole ecosystem of the Philadelphia Eagles with this town, how much we care about. 23, mess. 22, mess at points. 21, mess. Like, there's always something.
But here's the deal. I could easily say, hey, man, maybe you don't read a book on a sideline.
No, you said our town.
Right?
But you said
it
our
has nothing
town.
to do with us.
And you said our town. What does our town have to do with it?
Because it's all we care about.
Bro, if it was happening in any other city, it'd be talked about.
It would be talked about in any other city.
Yes, but not to the same level and the same way as we care in Philadelphia. We talk about this all the time. If we're saying, oh, we're such a great, passionate fan base, when it's positive, we have to acknowledge that great passion can also be a potential negative. And I'm not blaming anybody.
Sounds like you're blaming the fans.
I'm not. I've said it over and over again. It's not the fans. It's not the team. It's not the media. It's the combination of the three, the spotlight on the team, that I don't believe the Eagles will ever exist without drama.
Yeah, I believe the Eagles can exist without drama if the Eagles don't create it.
Right, it's self-created.
Because it's
man.
self-created. Any drama is not, it's not created by it's not created by the media. It's created by a story that then the fan base doesn't create it. They create it. You know, it's bottom line, it's them.
So I have another question, and we're going to get into some Philly stuff in the next segment, and, we're going to talk. We'll check our text line, our calls. Immediately, I see on our YouTube chat that they don't believe the story, that AJ had been requesting a trade. Why don't you believe it? Like, I need an answer as to why you don't believe it. Not because you choose not to, because it upsets you. Like, why don't you believe it? I need somebody to give me an actual answer for that.
And I also would love to hear which member of the Eagles organization has said it's a fake story.
610-632-0975. We'll check our text line. We'll check our calls. They got to fix this damn drama. You can react to that as well. Also, Phillies will be in play today after you and I received some backlash yesterday for not agreeing with Bob Nightingale. If you missed it, Nightingale still believes the Phillies are toward the top in baseball. We'll play it, discuss it. You let us know why you agree or disagree. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
You know, when something feels off, guys, make sure you go to the doctor. And when you go to the doctor, there's a chance that something could really be off. But if it's off and you get a cancer diagnosis, I promise you that it is not something that you need to panic about. You need to get to the consultants in medical oncology and hematology. And it may not even be yourself. It may be your best friend. It may be your brother. It may be your parents. It may be your spouse. The consultants in medical oncology and hematology, Dr. John Sprandio Jr. and his entire team, they saved my life. And when I say the entire team, I'm talking about the people at the front desk. I'm talking about the great nurses. I'm talking about the technicians who took care of me on an 8-month basis and continue to take care of me on a quarterly basis after the fact. They've got 3 great locations around town that make it really, really convenient. And since they're an independent practice, they can work with healthcare systems all around the tri-state area to get you seamless care. So if you had abnormal test results or you've got a cancer diagnosis, let them be one of your options that you speak to. I can promise you, they are compassionate. They are absolutely cutting edge. And I can tell you that the prognosis that they gave me was actually better than I received from one of those big medical systems here in town. And the protocol that they gave me saved my life. CMOH.org. Take the first step towards peace of mind.
The Fanatics, Andrew Dick.
what they're going to get into.
Telling you right now, if all these reports are true, dry January is ending this weekend. John,
What, a big
go ahead.
storm?
Tell us what you just said to me that you said before the show. Ray Dunn was tweeting about it yesterday, who you just heard on the return there.
Yeah,
There's a chance of a wild storm.
There's
this
a
week.
chance of a wild storm. Now, look, there's a chance of a wild storm. There's around just to put it at this morning. So this is what my buddy Rob Marciano is a national, weather guy, and he said there's probably about a 4 in 10 chance that we get something that could be really, really significant.
Yeah.
There's about 100% chance we're getting something.
Yeah, I saw
We're getting
I saw
something.
3 to 5 inches.
Right. That. By the way, that is still the most likely.
Sure.
Around 3 to 5, 3 to 6 is still probably the most likely. That's Tuesday. Depending on the way the jet stream takes this thing, though, we could be talking about a historic storm.
Yeah, I need that jet stream to stop fooling around. Get out of here.
Look.
I don't need no jets. I don't need no jet streams.
A Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing, though, to you? Come on now. For you and your son, and
I
for
guess I
everybody,
am off this weekend.
and for you and your son, and everybody in town, I think that's the best thing in the world. Bob Cooney, our buddy Bob, always said there's nothing better than a storm coming in on like a Friday.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
you have to worry
everybody,
about it as much.
everybody prepare, everybody hunker down. Dry January screwed them.
Yeah, dry January's over. I'm putting the beers in the snow, like the old college days, and having at it.
So it'd be good stuff. Connor, I don't know what you're going to do with your parking, but
Yeah,
I'll be fine.
If it does snow that way, be careful, everybody.
yes, be careful, everybody. We'll be talking about it, though.
All right. Let's take a call here. We got a couple people that want to chime in about the A.J. Brown discussion. Let's go to Scott in West Philadelphia. What's up, Scott?
Fellas. Good morning first.
Morning,
Glad
Scott.
you guys can make it in.
That's great.
So I've actually called to agree with John about sending AJ to anywhere. But I'll first say that I don't agree with the story, and the reason why is because, or at least I don't want to believe, is because AJ just signed a contract 2 years ago. Won the Super Bowl last year. Like, you got paid. Like, what are you complaining for? You got paid. If you didn't like it here, you could have left.
Well, why don't you want to
You had
believe
a
it
choice to
then?
leave.
I don't understand.
Because you got paid. If you wanted to leave, if you didn't like it here, you could have left instead of taking the money. You took the money and you decided to stay.
Well,
You
remember,
re-upped.
Scott, 2 years ago, and I just mentioned this in the last segment, 2 years ago, he was getting his numbers. Didn't he have 1,400 yards?
Oh, no, 2 years in a row.
In 2022, he had a hell of a season.
He almost had 3,000 yards in 2 years.
Look, we were talking about a trajectory to Canton. It's just the last 2 years that's obviously taken a slide. Last year because of the run game, and then this year because the offense just straight up sucked.
Well, then to John's point, there's a lot of receivers in this league, and you guys know that would rather win. I'm sure Justin Jefferson would love to win. I'm sure CeeDee Lamb would love to win. The list goes on. If he wants to be so great, I mean, AJ from X-Crosby would make me happy. He can go be Mendoza's wide receiver 1 on a bad Vegas team, and he can get all the stats he wants. It's not petty. I'm with John. It's not petty.
No.
But if you want stats, that's the only place he's going to get it on a bad team.
Yeah, go let him compile stats somewhere where the fan base doesn't care, and he can just go play for a team where there's no scrutiny like that.
And thanks for the call, Scott.
Thank you, Scotty.
I mean, think about it. He comes here from Tennessee, where I know they had did they get to the conference championship one year that he was there? Remember Vrabel beat the Chiefs? I forget what year that.
I
They
know
at least
Vrabel-
went to the divisional round. They
Vrabel
won
did a
playoff
nice
game.
job.
Yeah, and,
Vrabel did a nice job.
but there's a difference between the Tennessee Titans and the Philadelphia Eagles.
They have a good fan base down there,
There's a difference,
but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And
it's
oh,
not
by the way,
same.
his best career years were here.
That's college football country.
He comes here, he has his best career years, and he wins a Super Bowl, and he gets to 2, and he's complaining.
And he is because and last year after the Super Bowl, that was by design that he made those public statements. By design, he let everybody know, hey, I'm not happy.
So this
I'm not
is
happy.
It's interesting that you bring that up. I'm looking at our YouTube chat during the commercial break. I love that they go back and forth. They sometimes respond to us, but then sometimes they're doing their own show
Sure,
on
absolutely.
their own. And I asked the question of why don't you believe the Joe Santaliquito story? Like, why don't you believe that A.J. Brown had been requesting a trade since week 3? And people are saying, well, media makes it louder. MBD, who we credit a lot, he said, let's pretend for a second there are no media reports. Like, nobody ever said anything. You can see with your own eyes that A.J. Brown is reading a book in the middle of the game on the sideline. A.J. Brown, I'll go one step further. It did not take the media for him to go to social media.
Correct.
Right? Like, for him to complain, for him to go on the Twitch stream and to complain about the Eagles' offense publicly,
Yes,
has nothing to do with me and you coming on the air here at 6 o'clock in the morning, has nothing to do with Tim McManus or Jeff McClain writing about it or podcasting it. That's him doing it on his own.
and bottom line, excuse me, how many people in the Eagles organization have come out to say this story's fake? Has AJ come out and said the story's fake?
Nobody.
And I can tell you yesterday
He deleted his Twitter account.
Exactly. He ran and hit again, and then he'll bring it out again, and then he'll tell Mike Sealski in a very heartfelt piece how being on social media affects him because he's the one that creates all the drama. And then he says how much it affects him. This is a real story. And I was texting with people in the Eagles organization yesterday about this story, trying to figure out if I could find out more about it. So Joe Santoliquito is not writing this story and making stuff up. And so bottom line, it's a real story.
Yeah. All right. We're also going to have some Phillies discussion today. So yesterday we had Bob Nightingale on, and I predicted the answer, as you guys remember.
I was so angry.
I knew that they are still going to be looked at from people outside of Philadelphia as some top team. Here was Bob Nightingale with us yesterday talking about the job that Dave Dombrowski has done.
I think he's done a great job. I mean, the guy's going to the Hall of Fame. He's got that team back on track, making the playoffs year after year. Like I said, the only disappointment is the postseason, and those things can happen. I mean, look at the Buffalo Bills. I mean, yeah, they're still been a great regular season team, just disappointment in the postseason. So now, come October, if there's no additions or something like that, I think Phillies fans hold their breath like, can something change here? Can we catch a break? They never should have lost the Diamondbacks that year when the Diamondbacks went to the World Series. Like I said, they could easily have beaten the Dodgers. And I think if they had Zach Wheeler, if Wheeler hadn't had the injury, then I think they beat the Dodgers.
Now, in fairness to Bob, we had that interview before Sean McDermott got fired. So when he says it's just like the Bills, well, somebody lost their job because of it yesterday.
I got to tell you, I said it yesterday. I've never been more frustrated with an interview that we've ever conducted on Kincade and Salciunas. And I went back and listened to it yesterday afternoon, and I was more angry listening to it a second time.
Well, John, people were frustrated with us.
Really?
Because there are people that agree with Bob Nightingale that are Phillies fans.
Interesting.
So I would like to open that up as well.
Good.
When it comes to this Phillies team, what is it that you love about this Phillies team where you go, yeah, they are one of the top contenders in baseball? Let us know. We'll have a conversation about it. We gave
Absolutely.
some answers yesterday, but I'm still kind of confused by this. They're a top team in baseball conversation. It's just the Dodgers stand in their way. 610-632-0975. That, and we update you on the offensive coordinator search because if you're a fan of Mike McDaniel, you got some good news yesterday. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
2 wins in one night. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers finally both got back in the win column last night. Both teams found victories for the first time in what felt like a long time. For the Sixers, a 113-104 win over the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Maxey had 8 steals in the game. It was a fitting way for him to celebrate being named an all-star starter in the Eastern Conference. Sixers will take on the Suns at 7 p.m. tonight. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Flyers beat the Golden Knights 2-1 out in Vegas. Travis Konechny's 2 goals helped lead to the win, including this shorthanded one late.
Eichel drags it in. Trapped into the line. Konechny a breakaway. Short-handed. Travis Konechny, his second of the night. Shoots. He scores! Another breakaway goal by Travis Konechny.
Great call by Tim Saunders. That game was over on WMMR last night. The Flyers are off tonight. In college football, Indiana took home the national championship last night with a 27-21 win over Miami. Eagles still in the hiring process for a new OC, but defensive backs coach Christian Parker is getting interest for defensive coordinator positions. He'll interview in Green Bay this week. Be a big guy to lose for the Eagles. Scott Lauber will join us coming up at 8:05 for his thoughts on the latest with the Phils news. Jimmy Kempski of Philly Voice at 9:05 for his thoughts on the Eagles. This update is brought to you by IHOP. IHOP's value menu is here. Enjoy breakfast favorites like pancakes, eggs, and bacon. French toast with sausage or cheesy omelet with pancakes, all for just $6. Go to your happy plates with the $6 IHOP value menu. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
they're really not that bad, at least most of the time. Now let's listen to more Kincade and Salciunas before I change my mind.
All right, 2 topics to start the show, kind of 2.5. Number 1, we start the show by talking about what I believe is the number 1 fix for this Eagles team, first and foremost, and it's cleaning up the drama. Now, look, I understand somebody would say, no, it's to get a new offensive coordinator. Well, yeah, they fired the offensive coordinator, and I believe, no reporting, just believe, because kind of Richard Sherman exposed it to the world, that Kevin Patullo may have been a part of this drama.
Well, we know he was a part of it.
He literally attributed
He was talking.
to Kevin Patullo on Nick Foles' podcast, right?
Which I would have said fire him. Like, get him out of the building, fire him for that alone.
So the offensive coordinator that was a disaster is also potentially a part of the drama that took place this year. A.J. Brown requesting trades back in week 3 and complaining all season long and being an issue when it came to drama all season long is a part of the problem. Nick Sirianni, who is the head coach of this football team that is supposed to be the guy that keeps everybody from being dramatic and has done a great job at it. I will give him his credit, has done a great job at trying to keep the drama as little as possible. That became an issue this year, and he couldn't fix it. And then we had the Jeff McClain report that the Eagles did consider firing Nick Sirianni during the bye week just last year, the 2024 season. And thank God they didn't, because they won the Super Bowl. But it's an amazing storyline to follow what Nick Sirianni's sort of seat is like going into 2026. You said it just last week. They need to have a really good season or you'd consider a change.
No, I absolutely would consider a change, and I got to tell you, I'm itchy right now, and I've never been.
By the way, so is Jeffrey Lurie, according to Jeff McClain.
Yeah, if Jeffrey Lurie, when I find out that the owner had that lack of commitment to him even last year, because here's one for you. I did not believe that his job was in jeopardy at 2-2. So, and I trust Jeff McClain's reporting implicitly. I did not believe that he was that his job was in danger. So, to me, that was really interesting to listen to, and to hear about it. And to me, it tells me that the owner's not that committed to him. And so I'm actually a little surprised.
Because the owner sees it, John. Like, here's the deal.
Well, you shouldn't have to put out fires for your coach.
Constantly. And and the fact that he can't put out the fires of the team at times, and I'm not even talking about the drama at this point, right? I'm talking about the offense. The offense was a crap show all season long.
Sure.
It's happened now twice in 3 years where the team was falling apart, and he, as the offensive mind, had not been able to figure it out. 2023, the offense was not an issue the first 11 weeks. But much like this year, the offense carried the team, where the defense carried the team this season. When the offense started spiraling, they could not figure out a way to fix it. Teams figured it out. Remember Nick Bosa?
Yes.
Was it Joey Bosa?
No.
One of the Bosas. One of the Bosas talked about how they put out the blueprint on how to stop the Eagles. Rest of the defenses figured that out, and the Eagles offense had no idea how to adjust to it, much like the adjustments were a problem all season long this year. And if we're seeing that, Jeffrey Lurie can see that. The owner of the freaking Eagles can see that. And if he can't keep the drama together, which is one of the things that he prides himself with, that I give him a lot of credit for.
So do I.
That needs to get fixed. So that's number one.
I can't believe that we're even talking about it. Like, that we're even still talking about that being a problem.
Because it is.
I know, and it just is unfortunate. Exactly.
This weekend was more and more stories about how the Eagles suck and the vibes around the team stink. They won the Super Bowl 11 months ago, for crying out loud. And they're miserable. And A.J. Brown's miserable because it's not going the way that he wants it to. And so Joe Santoliquito reports that he's been asking for a trade since week 3. And my question to that is, if you are somebody that chooses not to believe it, what is it that you're not believing? Like, you have to give me an answer other than just, I'm burying my head in the sand.
Antonio on our Twitter feed says, he goes, Andrew's the youngest man in America to say, and you just used it again.
What'd I say?
For crying out loud.
Crying out loud.
Like, you're the youngest guy to say
For Pete's sake.
Like, it is funny when you say that.
Yeah, but you know what?
I smile every time. Because
Antonio, I'll be honest. I would like to say other things, but I can't.
He
legally.
Says his papa. His papa is his grandpapa.
I would like to say for F's sake, but I can't say it. All right?
His papa says it. His papa says it, and he is 78. And he just laughs.
Love that.
He goes, you're the youngest person in America. He hears you use that, and you just used it
Hell
again.
yeah. Hell
Crying
yeah,
out
man. For
loud.
crying out loud.
What are you kids doing out there in the yard?
Why don't you believe the story from Joe Santalaquita? Like, what is it? I'm not asking you to give me sources. I'm just saying, like,
No, they don't have sources.
Why are you saying this is not true?
guess
Just answer that question for me.
Joe has sources.
Yeah.
So Joe has the sources. People who don't believe him don't have sources.
Lastly, the other one that we just opened up, we'll check our text line here, and then we'll talk about the OC search, 610-632-0975. We played you the clip from Bob Nightingale last segment. So Bob does a great job covering Major League Baseball for USA Today, and I predicted his answer before we had him on, that he would say that the Phillies are still a top team in Major League Baseball. He went one step further.
Is that what he's told to say?
He went one step further and said that Dave Dombrowski has done, quote, a great job with the Phillies.
Incredible.
And then he said, it's just been the postseason that's been a disappointment. That's a pretty big just.
It's incredible that he said that.
That's a big just.
It's incredible that he even came out with those words.
And you can't tell me it's always been the Dodgers, right? Like, if the Phillies lost in 23, 24, and 25 to the Dodgers.
They lost to the freaking Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks in 3.
And they lost to
Mets
the Mets.
in 2024, and then the Dodgers.
Like, stop it.
And people still believe that the Phillies were close in that series. They won one freaking game.
They were not close in that series.
They lost in 4 games in a 5-game series.
They were close last year because every one of those games in the Dodgers series, they had a chance to win. Every one of them, they had a chance to win.
And they lost.
And they blew it.
So,
oh, my gosh.
There was a lot of backlash yesterday on social media because there are people that still really believe in this baseball team. And so I tried to have, like, cordial conversation because you know how it is. Somebody disagrees with you, you're an idiot. Right? Like, it's.
And sometimes we are. And we acknowledge that. Sometimes we are.
So, first, I want to start with one that did not start with you're an idiot. Kevin Reevey, who we both respect, wrote a great book called Ring the Bell with some guy that I never heard of.
Some guy that we've never, ever heard of.
He responded to the video of Bob Nightingale because I mentioned how I respect Bob's work, but I knew this was going to be said. I knew that somebody from the outside would tell us that the Phillies are a good baseball team.
Yeah, I heard that.
And Kevin said, you're too close to it. The outsiders are right, and lots of fans are too demanding. If you want the Phillies to play the same roster-building game as the Dodgers, you're delusional. The Phillies are still very good. They can win it. I don't think the Phillies will do things the way that the Dodgers do. The Dodgers are on a tier of their own. I get that. But to look at this baseball team and still view them as a team that is built to win a World Series, I think is crazy, considering it's the same team that's failed the last 4 years.
The Phillies have the 3rd highest payroll in baseball. And that's what I'd say to Kevin. I did say it to Kevin sort of yesterday, responding to him. They have like the 3rd highest payroll in baseball. Stop acting like they're like they're on welfare. Or like they're like 25 other teams in baseball. The Phillies have managed to spend and not have anything to show for it.
Yeah.
They have a bad roster. It's a bad roster. They have one of the worst outfields, if not the worst. They have one of the worst outfields in baseball. Like, how can that be?
And one of the problems with this baseball team, because, again, they have not been eliminated by the Dodgers every single year. But what they have been eliminated by every single year has been their own selves. The poor approach at the plate, which has been a constant, right?
Yes.
Like, 23, we complained about the approach at the plate. As soon as they stopped throwing strikes, with Brandon Pfaadt, they lost. That's when the series ended.
They purposely did not throw them strikes.
The Mets series, the only 2 guys that had a good approach of the plate in that series were Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos, and one of them they can't wait to ship out of town. And then last year, the approach of the plate was better, but they got beat by the Los Angeles Dodgers.
They still, and I'm not trying to critique your analysis.
It was better.
But I'm going to tell you, better. They were like 27th in chase rate.
Yeah.
So what was that better for? Is someone going to tell me it was better because they went from 29th to 27th?
Yeah,
Stop
objectively
it.
better.
No, that's not. That is not for what is Kevin Long. Whatever Kevin Long gets credit for doing, I have no idea.
And then another one.
He's friends with Bryce Harper. He's friends with Bryce Harper. He's friends with Kyle Schwarber. He's friends with them.
This was from M. Hart G on Twitter.
Okay.
Quote, I, Andrew Salciunas, know more than Dave Roberts and everyone who works in baseball because I go on radio and complain in Philly. End quote. So I just ask him, because I don't always have to be I don't have to be a J.O. back. I just said, hey, tell me what you love about this roster. And I said, I love the bullpen, right? Like, this bullpen's going to be really good.
I love the bullpen. I think that what they've done with the bullpen this offseason is a clear improvement.
But on January 20th, or in yesterday's case, the 19th, I could not say, get your season tickets now because the Phillies have a good bullpen. Like, that's not going to get me all that fired up. And so he responded saying that he loves having the batting champ in Trey Turner, loves having a 50-plus home run guy in Kyle Schwarber. Wow. Mentions Zach Wheeler, who we don't know when he's coming back.
Well, we do know what they've projected is that we're talking about best case scenario. We're talking about missing him for a couple months.
Okay.
Unless something dramatically changes, you're talking about missing his production for a couple months. Do you have the freedom to not have his production for a couple months?
I don't think so.
And to not have Ranger Suarez's production for an entire year?
I don't think so.
Like, I'm very interested to hear how people think that the magic pixies, the fairies are coming down with their pixie dust, and they're going to replace Ranger Suarez's production, and they're going to replace the production of Zach Wheeler, your ace, for 2 months.
Yeah. Well, you do have Christopher Sanchez.
What? No, Christopher Sanchez you're not replacing anything.
Right.
What you're doing is you're crossing every finger that you have that his outlier year is somehow repeated. That the greatest year he's ever put together is somehow going to be his career from this point on. Mm-hmm. That is the year, that's the real Christopher Sanchez, that he doesn't take a slight step back.
Well, same with Luzardo, because Luzardo is mentioned in the tweet, Luzardo's a career 4.5 ERA guy.
Correct.
He was great last year with the Phillies. And maybe it's a Caleb Cotham thing, right? Caleb Cotham is actually a very good pitching coach. Maybe that has something to do with it.
I think he's done a nice job.
But then he continues saying, I also love knowing that they'll be one of the best teams in the National League with a chance to win the World Series, having an offense that's been top 8 3 years in a row. I'm excited to see if Marsh and Stott continue to change in the new year. I can't keep relying.
Marsh and Stott, are we doing this?
I can't keep the organization's told you what they think about.
Yeah, those guys are not guys to bank on.
They bench them in the playoffs when there's a left-handed pitcher on the mound.
Like Marsh and Stott, we're doing that?
I gotta agree with Kev, who said we're too close to it at points. And I think people in the fan base are as well. If you told me a team, no-name team, not the Phillies, just a no-name team, was returning the Cy Young runner-up, and between two players, they won the National League Triple Crown last year. By the way, neither of those two players are a two-time MVP that's still on your squad. You have an all-MLB closer and a bullpen that you guys have both said you really like.
Yes, I like the bullpen
I like the bullpen a lot.
Like, that's a really good team.
Right,
guys.
now here's one thing.
Okay, are we going to talk about the worst outfield?
They're not the worst outfield.
Okay, can you tell me any other team that's going to be talked about being a World Series contender that has a worse outfield? Any other team that is going to be talked about, how about this? Any other team that is going to be talked about being a true playoff contender that has a worse outfield?
Yeah, Kansas City. Kansas City's outfield's garbage. They're worse than the Phillies, and they're a true playoff contender. I mean, there are other bad outfields out there. Cleveland, you could talk about them as a playoff contender.
And we're trying and we've tried to trade for one of Cleveland's outfielders.
That's true, yeah.
That's really interesting.
In Rich Homie Kwan.
We've been trying to get one of their outfielders.
Okay.
To improve our outfield.
Right, but it's not just the outfield. The team's more than the outfield. I know you don't like the outfield.
How about the fact is people are going to brag about this hitting? This hitting, what do you need to see that when at the point that this team needs to hit, 22, 23, 24, 25, this team and its biggest stars don't hit.
And by the way, admitted by their starting third baseman, who they've tried trading for the last 2 years.
Why do we keep clinging to the fairy tale when you just have to let's stick in reality?
Here's why, John.
Why?
Here's why. And I understand it.
I don't get it.
It's not wanting to go into a season miserable. And I get it.
You don't have to go into a season miserable. You can go in and say, you can acknowledge what is real, like you and I are both very much on. This team's going to win close to 90 games.
Yep, and I can't wait for opening day.
This team is going to have a really good bullpen. I said to John Marks yesterday, if you told me going into the playoffs, there's one thing I'd be more optimistic about this team going into the playoffs than previous years. I'd rather have a great bullpen than a great starting rotation going into the playoffs. If I'm a team trying to win a World Series, if you told me I could have one or the other, I would always take, in today's modern baseball, give me a great bullpen over a great starting rotation. Because the Phillies have had great starting pitching. And it's fallen flat. It hasn't done anything. He hasn't done it.
The Dodgers bullpen sucked last year, and they won the World Series. I mean,
I will always take the great bullpen. That's just me.
Yeah, my only
Always
thing
take
is
the great bullpen.
the starting pitching has not been the problem, though, because the bats have gone.
Because the Phillies bats, these great bats,
every single
these epic bats, the
look,
Triple Crown bats can't hit against that lousy Dodgers bullpen.
So
they made them look great.
I would like to hear from people. Give us a text message. Do we have anything on the Phillies yet?
no.
Okay, so we'll start with an Eagles text, but our Phillies question for you today. We spent a little bit of time on it yesterday after the Bob Nightingale interview, but now that I saw even more and more people agree with Bob throughout the day yesterday on social media, I would like to know, what is it about this Phillies team that you really like, that you feel really good about? And we're talking World Series now. We're not talking about good club 90 wins.
And we're not talking about winning 90 wins again. Teams that spend what the Phillies spend average 93 wins. So again, they've eclipsed that mark once. Once. So all this spending, they've had one season that exceeds what spending that money does. So don't act like they're accomplishing these great things, because they're not winning in October. So they're not.
Mopar chimes in, having the number 2 rotation the past 5 years. Now, I just hope that it continues and that Zach Wheeler comes back healthy and that Aaron Nola is not being killed by the fourth inning again.
Aaron Nola is a declining asset, clearly.
And Ranger's not here, and he's been a part of that
gone.
rotation.
And Ranger's been your most clutch pitcher. Him and Wheeler have been your most clutch pitchers.
610-632-0975. We'll talk about Mike McDaniel here in a minute. What do we got on the text line?
Dan from Warminster wants to talk about Mike McDaniel now. Well, not specifically, but he says the biggest thing to fix for next year is the offensive line. Need to draft Lane's replacement and have depth. The offense needs to be better in general more than the drama.
Yeah, of course. And you would
fair.
hope a competent offensive coordinator helps that.
I think the offensive line escaped bullets this year in a big way from critique. Because, yes, injury, we'll find out more about the injuries as the offseason goes along.
Once you start getting some reports.
But their play, not good.
Cam Jurgens was not good this year.
No, he was not good. Jordan Mailata had his worst year,
Yes, he did.
arguably. So, I mean, that's a fair critique.
Yeah.
The Eagle fans can no longer go around bragging and saying we have one of the best offensive lines in football, because we do not.
Yep.
Now, could they get back there? Who knows? Let's hope.
Now, do you want Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator of the Eagles? If so, obviously there's still the chance that he could get a head coaching job.
I
right?
think he's getting one.
But according to reports I saw from Jeff Darlington, he is not going to be hired. Well, he was not hired. The Lions did hire an offensive coordinator. And it was not Mike McDaniel, because according to reports, they just weren't on the same page.
Yeah,
it wasn't quite the right fit was the terminology from Jeff Darlington.
He was not being given the latitude in Detroit. So that's bottom line. He was not being given the latitude. So he's coming in with demands.
Yeah. Like he wants a coaching staff and all that.
And he
kind of
wants
stuff.
demands as far as what he wants to do. He doesn't want to come in with, I'm going to fit within your framework. I'm going to come in and run my offense. So will that work with Nick Sirianni?
Right. Well, we'll see about that.
I mean,
so the Lions, by the way, did hire an offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing.
He's terrible.
I don't.
By his track record is terrible.
He was the OC of the Cardinals. Now, how much is that at Kyler Murray? Who knows? Something I read yesterday, he has some ties to Ben Johnson. So are they trying to recreate magic in Detroit with Petzing? But this was not a name that people were like, oh man, need to hire Drew Petzing.
Terrible.
The offensive coordinator of the Cardinals.
They're so upset over this hire.
Yeah,
but he's a guy who did.
Him.
He's in that Ben Johnson tree. So they're believing that he is, by osmosis, he's learned a lot.
Okay.
Maybe it works. Look, Ben Johnson probably has sold them on him. So maybe that works.
Maybe. All right. So Mike McDaniel's still available. If that's somebody that you hope that the Eagles hire, even though I still think like you that he gets a head coach.
I don't see any way that the Arizona Cardinals. To me, he screams like Arizona Cardinals, Cleveland Browns, one of those teams giving him a job.
Yeah.
And you say about the warm weather, so we can wear like Bill Colorado.
Yeah, he's not a Cleveland guy.
So like Bill and Connor, he can wear those capri sweatpants type things.
They're comfortable.
He can. Arizona makes total sense.
You know how we say, not we, but you know how there's people that do the whole, I don't like that guy. He's not a Philly guy. Mike McDaniel's not a Northeast guy.
No, he's not.
Mike McDaniel is a down south guy, warm weather guy, L.A. guy.
I got to tell you though, when he was with the Falcons, he did not seem like an Atlanta guy. So I will just tell you that. He just seems like an odd bird. But you know what? He's a brilliant mind.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant mind. You could do a hell of a lot worse.
All right, coming up next. The latest rumor with the Phillies. Are we going to do this all over again?
I wonder how this is getting out. Where are these rumors coming from? I wonder.
Is this more the same, or are the Phillies so upset with what happened that they're going for the rebound signing? We'll tell you what that rumor was next. Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
How about being in business for almost 4 decades? What does that mean? Well, it means that people trust you. And Dan White and Associates, who specializes in retirement and financial planning, that means people have trusted them with money issues. And look, discussions about money are really, really difficult. Discussions about planning for your retirement can be absolutely overwhelming for people. And I'm shocked at the amount of people that are in their 40s that have never had a discussion with a professional about them. You could go to one of their educational seminars that they host throughout Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland and just sit in the room, have a nice dinner, listen to the discussion, and then you could have your own complimentary no-risk consultation where you can talk to Dan White's team, and you can then figure out, well, maybe is my retirement plan on track? Is my financial planning proper right now? Maybe you're starting out and you want to be able to buy that next house or pay for the kids' college education. Dan White and Associates can help people with their money issues and help people come up with a great plan to give them that peace of mind. That complimentary no-risk consultation is waiting for you. Visit danwhiteandassociates.com.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
An all-star night. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers finally both got back in the win column on the same night. Feels like a long time since we said that. For the Sixers, a 113-104 win over the Indiana Pacers, and it was an all-star caliber performance from Tyrese Maxey. 8 steals in the game.
Into the left corner, Maxey steals the ball. A career-high 8 steals. The Sixers are going to beat the Pacers. Maxey taking over like an all-star superstar.
Great call by Tom McGinnis here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And Maxey fittingly had an all-star caliber night. He was named an all-star starter in the Eastern Conference yesterday. Sixers host the Suns tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Flyers beat the Golden Knights 2-1 out in Vegas, snapping the 6-game losing streak. Travis Konechny, both the goals for the Flyers, including a short-handed opportunity late to put them up for good. Flyers are off tonight. College football, Indiana took home the national championship last night, a 27-21 win over Miami. Eagles are still in their hiring process for a new OC, but could lose a positional coach. Defensive backs coach Christian Parker is getting interest for defensive coordinator positions. He'll interview in Green Bay this week. Scott Lauber will join us coming up at 8:05 for his thoughts on the Phillies' moves or non-moves. Jimmy Kempski joins us at 9:05 for the latest on the Eagles. This update's brought to you by Corona. This Thursday from 6 to 8, Andrew Salciunas and Corona are at Casey's in Drexel Hill for a 97.5 The Fanatic Sixers pregame party. Enjoy $17.50 Corona family buckets and a chance to win Sixers tickets. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Johnny Marks just said Middays with Marks comes your way at 10 o'clock. Coming up later on this segment, we show some love to Tyrese Maxey. We talked about it at the beginning of the show when we first started. It was nice to see a Sixers and Flyers win last night because the last 2 weeks have been absolutely miserable. Here in Philadelphia, Sixers had lost 3 of their last 4 games before last night. Flyers had lost 5 straight before last night. Eagles, we know. They lost their last 2 games, including the final game of the season to the 49ers. And they had to fire their offensive coordinator that was incompetent all season long, and we've been talking about that since he got promoted. So the last 2 weeks have really sucked. Oh, sorry, and the Phillies didn't get Bo Bichette, and now the season's over. Well, not everybody feels that way.
Well, there's good news today, the media availability. Connor, did you get this, that there's big media availability with the Phillies today? Get you excited for the season?
Who's available?
Rob Thompson will be there.
Okay, cool.
That's good news. Tanner Banks.
All right.
Christopher Sanchez.
Okay, nice. Okay, good.
Before he goes and pitches in that World Baseball Classic, which is a dumb move.
I love it.
Otto Kemp.
Okay.
And Weston Wilson.
Ooh. Okay.
Well, I'm interested in Otto, not so much Weston.
I don't have your interest in Otto Kemp as you do. I don't. This is something that is such a PR-driven storyline right now for me, that he's a winner, championship-like player. We really like what he's got, which is why we waited till he was 27 years old to call him up.
I don't believe that at all. But I'm interested in the guy that's having that much expectation heaped on him, what he has to say ahead of the season.
One of our other, I mentioned Kevin Reevey, who I was going back and forth a little bit on social media. He mentioned that Bryson Stott and Otto Kemp would have been the second and third best hitters on the Pirates last year. There are lots of teams with serious issues, but the Phillies aren't one of them. I don't care about my team, my players compared to the Pirates.
I don't want to be the Pirates.
Pirates suck.
We have the 3rd highest payroll in baseball. Why are we talking about the Pirates?
Well, this is the DeCecco and Bill conversation on the Eagles, the perspective thing. Zach Berman said it too.
Perspective.
You're not supposed to have perspective. Perspective is when you have the 3rd highest payroll in baseball, you're supposed to compare yourself to teams that are of comparable status to you. You're not supposed to be saying, well, we could be the bottom payroll team in baseball. You're supposed to compare yourselves to team. So you don't have to say the Dodgers, who spend wildly, but you could compare yourself to the other teams.
By the way,
say,
perspective always changes for me. Perspective in 2022, I just wanted them to make the playoffs. Remember, there were people that hated this baseball team. Let's not rewrite history here. There were people that didn't want them to make the playoffs.
In 22, teams play. Nobody liked the Phillies in mid-September.
I remember arguing with people that I thought it would be best to get to the playoffs just to get experience. And there were people that are like, no, I hate them. I don't want them to make the playoffs. And then they go on the magical run. And so everybody was fine that they lost to the Dynasty Astros. Everybody was okay with it because it was year 1 they made the playoffs. Then they lose in the NLCS to a team they should not have lost to. Then they lost in round 1 the last 2 seasons. So perspective goes out the window when this is the year. Instead of going forward, they've gone backward.
And I said to Kev last night, and Kevin Reeves a great baseball
I love
player.
Kevin, yeah.
And he goes, I said, you did not need to sign JT Realmuto within 15 minutes of not signing Bo Bichette. You did not need to give him $15 million for 1 year, let alone 3.
Well, they needed a catcher, John.
Which Major League Baseball team was offering him a multi-year deal? They blinked, and he goes, they had to blink. No, they didn't. You call his bluff. He was not going somewhere on a 1-year deal. By the way, Tampa, and if you read the Tampa press, and I believe multiple sources within Tampa, they were offering 1 year. The Pittsburgh Pirates were offering him a deal.
Yep.
The Pittsburgh Pirates were offering a deal. No talk of a multi-year deal was documented. Call his bluff. You didn't have to back up a Brinks truck for JT Realmuto. What are you blinking for? Come on.
Right. Now there was a report yesterday that is intriguing. I can't believe anything anymore. I already got bamboozled. All right.
Tried to save you.
We tried to.
John Morosi of the MLB Network is not ruling out. He's not reporting anything. He's just kind of talking. He's not ruling out the Phillies as a potential landing spot for Framber Valdez.
Who do you think said that?
If you guys don't know who Valdez is, he's a tremendous left-handed pitcher for the Astros. Really became a name this past year for all the wrong reasons when he crossed up his catcher potentially on purpose and drilling him with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball to the chest, because that's good. That aside, he is a tremendous pitcher. Very, very good pitcher. Is a winner with the Houston Astros. And
I like him.
But I don't believe it.
No.
I don't believe it either.
They weren't willing to pay Ranger. What do they get? So they're going to pay Framber Valdez instead?
Like, why would you do that?
And by the way, I know the Mets I saw are in on him because they need pitching. As fun as the Mets lineup seems to be, they have no pitching. And Valdez is being mentioned as another as a Met.
So you think maybe that all of a sudden his name is linked to the Phillies? You mean
Because they didn't get who they wanted.
Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, we're in on this guy too.
I don't think that's remotely what it is from the clip. Like, it sounds like, hey, the Phillies could be a spot where he fits, so maybe they'll look at him.
Yeah, you know what? You know what the Phillies have become? Just even though the results are completely differently. It's, well, Howie Roseman's going to make a call. Because the Phillies have the money.
So they're going to call.
And so the Phillies will always be a landing spot for top free agents. Just like every NFL player that becomes a free agent or there's a trade or they're upset with their team, it's, we ask Adam Schefter, well, of course Howie's going to call because Howie's this is what he does. He's an aggressive GM, blah, blah, blah. That's what the Phillies have become.
Well, Valdez,
just
too.
without the same results.
You want some more bad news here? Because here's from a Houston writer saying is that Valdez's camp is looking at the potential to, with the market being softer than was expected, at opt-out years.
Yeah, which...
So that rules out the Phillies.
Yeah, Phillies won't do that.
So maybe that means that the stories about them being in on him could potentially just be false, trying to create some positive press.
I don't think it's positive. Like, we had the clip. Like, it doesn't sound like...
Yeah, he wasn't reporting. Go ahead, play. He was just talking.
Framber Valdez news today. I will say this. I checked in with some sources on this in the last 24 hours. It does not appear that a deal is imminent. There were those that thought that once Ranger Suarez signed his deal last week with the Red Sox, that perhaps that Framber would follow almost immediately after. That does not appear to be happening. However, the teams that we know that are still interested in arms, the Orioles, the Mets, are both possible landing spots for Framber. And I would also say this. We have not heard a ton about the team that Ranger Suarez left as being a possible landing spot for Framber Valdez. But when you look at the Phillies depth chart for pitching, there's a spot there where you could certainly see a veteran sliding in. So I would say let's not close off the possibility of Framber to the Phillies quite yet either.
Yeah, that was more so just I'm looking at a team that needs a pitcher.
And
so
when did his name become Suarez?
Hey, he's putting some stank on
a lot of
Like,
stank.
when did
There was a lot of stank.
Ranger doesn't even say it like that. Ranger doesn't speak like that.
I like it, though. Give him some flavor.
It sounded like a comedy movie.
I can't wait for him to return.
What is that?
That's a
Whatever
big
Phillies
reason why I
play
wanted
him,
to play the clip.
That was awesome.
But
So,
yeah, that's not Dave Nabrowski putting out press. That's a guy seeing the Phillies could need starting pitching, and Framber's still out there, so maybe they're a spot.
Yeah, well, I don't believe it.
No, it's not happening.
All right, I want to show some love to this man because today's been a day about talking drama with the Eagles. What else is new? Offensive coordinator searches. The Phillies leaving me so upset, and it's January. We're not even close to spring training just yet. But yesterday was a cool day for Tyrese Maxey being named a starter for the Eastern Conference All-Stars alongside Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm guessing Giannis is playing center, and everybody else is free balling out there. But here was Tyrese Maxey after the Sixers win last night over the Pacers with Kate and Ala.
Congratulations on being named an all-star starter. I know that your goals are team-oriented, right? But what does this mean? Because this has still got to be special.
Yeah, it means that we're winning games. It means that we're winning games. It means that we're stepping in the right direction. You know, every single night we're going out here and competing. That doesn't always accumulate to win. Sometimes we lose, tough games. But we're playing the right way. You know, we have the right mindset every single time we step on the court, so that's good.
So that was awesome. I mean, look, he deserves it. His story
It's awesome.
Is fantastic. Again, I was ready to trade him for Kevin Durant and James Harden 5 years ago, right? And look, I don't think I was foolish for saying that because those are some of the best players in the history of the NBA. But what Tyrese Maxey has done, there is light for the Sixers because of him. And just last year, you heard me, I was very critical of Maxey last year. when Embiid was hurt and Paul George was hurt, there was a lot of, well, we still got Maxey. And Maxey was not uplifting this team. Now, I don't know who could have last year. It was such a disaster, such a mess. This year, in the games where both Embiid and George have been out, Tyrese Maxey has carried this basketball team. And hell, even in the games where those guys have been playing, Tyrese Maxey, the first couple of games, they tried doing the Embiid show, and Nick Nurse quickly realized, all right, Embiid can obviously be a part of the winning. He had a nice night last night. Embiid scored, 29 points yesterday at a double-double, right? 29 and 10. Or no, 30 points, 9 rebounds for Embiid yesterday. But it's still the Maxey show, first and foremost.
It's the Maxey show right now. But it's, again, he has to have that surrounding cast, which we all expect.
Yep.
But one of the things I love about Tyrese is that, and I'd love to see the defense get better. It really hasn't.
Yeah.
But he works on his game. His conditioning is superior. It's unbelievable, the minutes that he's able to play. And he's an absolute joy to watch. He gets better and better. It's fun. It's fun to watch it. We are blessed to have him here.
Yep.
Now
absolutely.
he just needs more surrounding talent.
Yeah. And look, you're building something. You got VJ. It's been fun to watch him play this year. But congratulations to Tyrese Maxey. Plus, by the way, knowing the person, he's a great dude. So that makes it even better. Like, I love the person that Tyrese Maxey is. All right, coming up next, it is today's headlines with Connor Tiles. So check our text line before that. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
You know, when something feels not right, get to the doctor, guys. And a lot of you will not go to the doctor. You won't just say, hey, I'm not feeling well. Well, if you go to the doctor and then you find out that cancer is in your life or is in your family's life, go to the consultants in medical oncology and hematology, because Dr. John Sprandio Jr. and his team made it so easy for me to get my answers fast. And then we found out after my surgery that I needed to get those answers fast. You don't know how fast I needed them. They gave me quick consults. They gave me clear communication. And they got me references to some of the best doctors in the area. And with a convenient location now at the Mainline Cancer Center in Newtown Square, they've got 3 offices across the region. With an independent practice, they can deal with healthcare systems all across the region. So you can get seamless care from absolutely amazing, amazing people. You've had that cancer diagnosis come into your life. Don't be panicked. Go to the experts and let them walk you through the process. I promise you, they'll hold your hand when you need it, and they'll prop you up when you really, really need it. The consultants in medical oncology and hematology. I'm here today because of them. Visit CMOH.org. And if you ever need me, you can reach out to me too.
Evan here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Thinking of Connor Thomas, who's going to be doing today's headlines momentarily. You have lows in the single digits potentially the rest of this week and into the weekend as well. So
I think I'm coming down with something.
I have to ask you, because you're very anti-cold.
As everyone should be.
I don't totally disagree with you. You love going to your bar.
Yeah.
Would you make the trek through the cold, or is that a hunker down in your house?
They got these new things called Ubers, so I'm going to call one of them.
You still have to walk to said Uber.
It's outside my door.
And do you know what the Uber rate is going to be during a blizzard?
Bro, I don't care. It could be $100. I will pay that.
What, the bar? You think the bar's going to be open?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the bar's going to be open.
Bars don't. Look,
Hey.
if anything, during the snowstorm, you have to stay open.
Is that
What else are
really
we going to do?
That's the place. That's the place for the people. All right, what do we got on the text line? We got some Eagles and Phillies topics going on for you at 610-632-0975. I think the number one thing this Eagles team needs to fix this offseason is a freaking drama. Figure out whoever the rats are and get them out. I'm sorry, get them out because it was too much, and it was all season long. Yes, offensive coordinator is an easy answer as to if it's not drama. I get it. The offensive coordinator sucked. We talked about it all freaking season long, but we also talked about drama all year long and anonymous sources and this and that. And A.J. Brown wants to be traded and has been apparently asking for trade since week 3. And if you don't believe the report by Joe Santoliquito about A.J. Brown, can you tell me why? 610-632-0975. And if you agree with Bob Nightingale that the Phillies are still some top team in Major League Baseball, because you and I got some backlash. There are a lot of people that agree with how we feel, John, but there are people that think the Phillies are still this top contender. Let us know why. What do we got on the text line?
Sean checks in, and he's pointing to the head coach as a part of the reason for the Eagles' issues. He says, I'm a Nick Sirianni supporter because I do believe he's a good coach, and what he's done doesn't grow on trees. However, the more I think about it, I believe for him to keep his job, I think they need to reach the NFC Championship game next season.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't have another disastrous season. And let's face it, this season was a disaster.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
It was a wasted season. He promoted his buddy, and his buddy sucked. The offense was bad all season long, and Nick Sirianni is of an offensive mind, right? It was more offensive than offensive. It was offensive this year, but Nick Sirianni's supposed to be this offensive-minded coach, and the offense was what kept you from winning, ultimately. I get it. The defense had one of their worst performances in the playoff game. But if the offense did 50% of what they're paid for, they win that football game.
They win that game, obviously.
And then you hope the defense bounces back the next week in Chicago.
And if they had played better, if the defense plays slightly better than they played against San Francisco, and the offense plays, again, 50%, 60%, they win at Chicago.
Yeah.
Things could have been different.
All right, what else we got?
All right, we also have a check-in here, another question another answer here, rather, on the Eagles. And Elijah from South Philly says, I honestly believe Devontae Smith is really fed up with this offense as well, but is more professional about it.
So that's why I said earlier, is it as easy as just getting rid of A.J.? Because what if there are players that agree with A.J.?
I think there are. And I think there are players, but I don't think there are players that are like, if A.J. has personal grief, I think there are players that have organizational grief. I think A.J. sounds very personal. It just sounds, everything's about A.J. I don't think that, well, how about this? I know for a fact from what I've known about Devontae Smith, he's not a stats compiler. That's why I found it strange, the whole he has to play in the final game to get 40-some yards. I found that really odd because that is not the Devontae Smith that I even remember covering when he was at Alabama.
All I know is Devontae was having one hell of a season until somebody started complaining, and then it changed. All right, time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
It's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. I know we mentioned it earlier, but the national championship in college football wrapped up last night. Indiana taking home the crown.
Brown is the back. Beck sets up, delivers downfield, intercepted! Jamari Sharp makes the pick that will clinch Indiana's first national championship.
I mean, that's one of the greatest turnarounds in sports history.
Yeah, Carson Beck couldn't just hand the ball off, so that's why they lost.
I can't believe that it happened.
Indiana,
I can't believe it happened.
It is arguably the greatest story in the history of college football. Now, the thing that I push back on, and we actually did a segment on this when I did ESPN Friday night.
Okay.
Enough with the trying to compare them to the other top programs. Like that 2019 LSU team with Justin Jefferson.
Right.
With Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow threw 60 touchdown passes that
Correct.
year. Like that team may be the greatest college football team of all time.
They're not that team.
But you can say that this may be the greatest story of all time. The last time...
It's an outrageous story.
It's the last time they went back-to-back seasons where they had winning records, all right?
Okay.
Was in the early 2000s. Like winning seasons. That means at least one win over 500.
It's incredible.
And they come out and go undefeated and win the national championship. In just year 2 of Kurt Signetti, by the way, who was only in year 4 of being a head coach for like a legit program. JMU for 2 years, and then Indiana for 2 years. With all due respect to like IUP and all those.
And when he got hired, he was such a Billy Big Balls in his talk, in his swagger. He delivered on it all.
He absolutely did.
Congratulations to him, because he talked the talk and walked the walk, man. And he did it. It's great. It's great for Indiana. I can't believe it ever. I still can't believe it happened.
Yeah. They're a historically bad organization.
It's amazing. By the way, too, this has to be said, too. 3 consecutive national champions from the Big Ten.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah, SEC's on notice.
No, SEC is on alert, Connor, that they've been supplanted as the best conference. When 3 different teams from the same conference win, the Big Ten are the champs of football right now. And by the way, the Penn State hasn't sniffed one.
No. What else we got? Give us one more.
All right.
Turn down the music. Yeah, you got a minute.
We got to hit the break. But we also had a goalie fight last night in the NHL.
And Sergei Bobrovsky is coming down. He's coming down. And he wants Nedeljkovic. And here we go. Sergei Bobrovsky and Alex Nedeljkovic down to our left inside the short sin. The mask is off. Nedeljkovic. The bell is sounded here at Amerant Bank Arena. Bobrovsky a right hand. Nedeljkovic trying to hold him back. They lock horns at the top of the near circle. Sergei Bobrovsky and Alex Nedeljkovic. And they tackle each other down.
You know, the Flyers could use that Bobrovsky guy.
Yeah, it'd be good if they could get a goaltender like that.
Talented goalie,
but
Philly guy.
Vladar has been amazing. Vladar's actually been better than Bobrovsky this year.
We'll talk when he fights somebody.
I could have used Bobrovsky over the last 10 years.
No, I get you. Well, you can
So Humanga's big.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, we got Ilya, man. We got Briz. All right, coming up next. Scott Lauber joins the show at 8:05. So we got the local perspective of this Phillies roster. Does he see it the same way Bob Nightingale did yesterday, saying that Dave Dombrowski's done this great job, and the only thing that's been a problem for them has been the postseason? It's a pretty big only. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
2-goal night for Travis Konechny. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers both found wins last night. For the Flyers, it was a 2-1 victory over the Golden Knights. Travis Konechny, a 2-goal night, as mentioned. The last one, a short-handed goal to put the Flyers up for good.
Eichel drags it in. Trapped it over the line. Konechny a breakaway. Short-handed. Travis Konechny, his second of the night. Shoots. He scores! Another breakaway goal by Travis Konechny.
That breaks a 6-game losing streak for the Flyers. Boy, they needed that one. They're off tonight. Sixers, they won last night as well. 113-104 over the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Maxey, 8 steals in the game. A fitting way for him to celebrate being named an all-star starter in the Eastern Conference. Sixers will play the Suns tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. In college football, Indiana took home the national championship. They beat Miami 27-21 last night. The Eagles are still in the hiring process for a new offensive coordinator. But defensive backs coach Christian Parker is getting interest for defensive coordinator positions. He's going to interview in Green Bay this week, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Scott Lauber joins the guys coming up next for his thoughts on all the news surrounding the Phillies lately. So we'll get the local perspective, as you heard the guys mention. This update is brought to you by the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. It's happening again. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship Saturday, February 7th. Knucklemania 6 taking over Xfinity Mobile Arena, and everyone's coming. Get your tickets at bkfc.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
and 97.5thefanatic.com.
7:59. Connor, here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We got Scott Lauber coming up in about 5 minutes to join us to talk about the Philadelphia Phillies, as the Phillies have been making news for all the wrong reasons, not getting Bo Bichette, extending JT Realmuto on a 3-year, $45 million contract. And now there's the Framber Valdez speculation. No reporting by John Morosi, just kind of, hey, don't rule out the Phillies.
Hey, the Phillies are in on this guy.
We're
telling you.
I'm telling you, it's Howie. It's the same thing. Eagles are always in on insert player X.
But you never hear who the Eagles are in on. The Eagles don't talk.
No, they're good with it.
The Eagles don't talk. And by the way, again, now there's a second source in Houston. That Valdez's camp is reportedly that there will be, because of a softer market, will be interested in opt-outs. That would rule out the Phillies. If he's truly interested in that, the Phillies do not do that.
Yeah, and
so
the Phillies,
that would mean that they're not in on him.
And the Phillies aren't going to all of a sudden change their opinion on opt-outs because they didn't get Bo Bichette, so they're going to do it with Framber Valdez, right? I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that Bo Bichette's camp said, "Hey, look, are you guys totally sure you're not doing this opt-out thing? Because the Mets are offering it. That's what we want." And if Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton and Preston Mattingly and whoever's in that room said, no, we're not swaying our opinion when it comes to the opt-outs, I don't think they're going to say, damn, you know what, let's change our tune 3 days later, 4 days later.
By the way, I don't believe that it's a Preston Mattingly policy. I believe it's a Dave Dombrowski policy.
Yeah, it existed before. Preston Mattingly was not here during the Harper thing, and
Correct.
Harper didn't do it.
Correct. To me, and again, like yesterday.
Well, neither was Dombrowski, right?
Like they're talking yesterday, and what really drove me nuts in hearing the interview again yesterday with Bob Nightingale, he goes, well, the Phillies don't do it because then, look, but Bryce Harper, he agreed to the long-term contract and everything. And I said, and within 4 years, he tried to renegotiate twice.
It's because John Middleton said to him straight up, we're underpaying you.
He tried to renegotiate the deal twice. So what's the use when you got a star player says, oh, give me the guaranteed money. I'll sign on the dotted line. Good faith. Give me the long-term contract. And then it's like, yeah, but I need to be paid more. And then tries the shakedown. That's not good faith.
That's exactly the use. Because if he had an opt-out, he might take it. But now Bryce Harper still plays for your baseball team and can't go anywhere.
I got you. But the thing is, it's not. The thing is, that's why players don't do it.
The opt-out's also interesting with the potential lockout next year. Like that, because who knows what the money looks like.
After a lockout, they could be playing poker where you lose.
Right. You could, because if there's a salary cap.
There's going to be a salary cap.
The money's not going to be the same.
It's coming.
So it's an interesting situation. What do we got on the text line? We got some Eagles topics and some Phillies topics, and then we'll speak with Scott Lauber. Does a great job covering the Phillies for the Inquirer. He joins us at 8:05. What do we got?
All right, so we have people checking in on this Phillies conversation as well. We have a bet for you, Johnny.
What's that?
It's a charity from Ryan in Florida.
Okay.
Because you brought up earlier how you called Nola a declining asset. Does that mean you think he will have a worse ERA this year than last year? No. Because if that's something that you're saying, I'll make a bet towards charity for it.
Wait a minute. You're going to say, no, I'm not going to go, wow, could he be better than
6.01?
Can he be better than 6.01? No, I'm not going to do that bet. If you tell me that if he wants to place a bet and he wants to come back with a number, and I'll then make a bet on that number. So if he wants to propose a number, I will absolutely make a bet on that.
How about this? I just went to Pro Baseball Reference, my favorite website.
What is his career average?
Aaron Nola. Well, I just did the 23-24 season. All right, and I combined the two.
Okay.
Aaron Nola's ERA in 2023 was 4.46. His ERA in 2024 was 3.57. So
what that average out
the
to?
number crunching gives you a 4.01 ERA.
Okay.
So let's call it an even 4.
How about this? I'll even give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give a 4-2.
Okay.
On that bet. So if he wants to go,
so he's going under. You're going over.
He goes, if it's 4-2 or above, it's me. If it's 4-1-9 or below, he wins. So I'm even giving him some berth on that.
But which, by the way, that's bad for what he's getting paid.
That's hugely bad.
And so, no, do we think Aaron Nola's going to have another 6+ ERA
No,
season?
I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to say, oh, wow, If he has a 5.7 ERA, he improved.
But he got paid to be your number 2 in the rotation.
I get
he is pitching like a number 4.
Yes,
absolutely. That's not good.
No.
All right, let's see what the next plan is for the Phillies because nobody's happy with the current plan. From the Inquirer, he does a tremendous job covering the Phillies. Scott Lauber joins us here on Kincade and Salciunas. Scott, good morning, man. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Doing all right, Scott.
We're doing good, even though I'll be honest, like I'm already miserable, and the season isn't for another 2 months because it looks like they're about to bring back the exact same team. Obviously, you're shifting the chairs a little bit on the Titanic here with some of the names, like Adolis Garcia. But when you saw the Bichette thing go down, and then the JT Realmuto extension happens, are we really about to look at the exact same Phillies team close to for a 4th straight year?
So, as long as you're being honest, I'll be honest. So I left town for vacation on Thursday night. Great timing, right?
Yes.
Right as all of this was percolating and really percolating. And when I say leave town, like I went far away for vacation. So I was not like even within range of like poking around on this. So I did some nosing around yesterday when I got back, and what I found out, was some of what's been reported elsewhere, but some that I wasn't aware of. So the Phillies on Thursday night thought that they met Bo Bichette's price. He was asking for 7 years and $200 million, and he basically let them know, if you offer that, I will take it. And they agreed to offer that. And so they are on Friday morning. They are preparing their offer to him, which they expect he's going to take. And they find out, like the rest of us found out through reports that were leaking out, that the Mets had signed him. So that's kind of how they found out that they lost Bo Bichette. I know it probably looks like they then pivoted and maybe even sort of caved to JT Realmuto shortly after that. But look, I suspect what we're going to hear from them today and throughout the rest of the next couple of weeks is that until a couple of weeks ago, their plan all along was re-sign Kyle Schwarber, re-sign JT Realmuto, change the mix a bit in the outfield, which they did, change the mix a bit in the bullpen, which they did, and bring it back. And they will push back on the running it back theme. They will cite that 2/3 of their outfield is new, and they will cite that their bullpen has been switched up a bit. But yeah, I mean, the core of the team is the core of the team, and that was their plan. And if we hadn't known as much as we knew in the last 10 days or so about their sort of pivot to Bo Bichette, I wonder whether people would feel any differently. I suspect not. I suspect people would still be a little bit frustrated with, the fact that the entire core is coming back. But, the fact that we know that they did, because Realmuto was lingering on the market, that they did pivot to Bo Bichette, and we know how close they thought they were. It certainly stings, and Friday wasn't a good day for them, and they'll move forward.
Scott, who were they bidding against for JT Realmuto? Because just poking around media and reading about it, it appears Tampa was prepared with a 1-year contract offer. I don't see anybody else that was offering a multi-year deal, let alone 3 years, $45 million. So I'm wondering where that came from.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know. I know he met with the Red Sox earlier in the offseason. I don't think that went all that far. It never resurfaced. So at least to my knowledge, so they were, I heard the same thing you did. I'd heard maybe the Marlins, a lot of non-contending teams or smaller market teams that maybe thought that they could get better with the best catcher on the market. So I ultimately, though, look, I mean, I think that a lot of what happened with the Mets, I think we have to step back and look at kind of how the week unfolded. So Bregman signs with the Cubs, and I think everyone thought, this means that the competition for Bichette now is going to start with the Red Sox. And the Red Sox decide, you know what, instead of doing that, we're going to double down on pitching and sign Ranger Suarez. And so I kind of thought when I left on Thursday, I kind of thought, well, the Phillies are in the driver's seat here for Bichette because the Red Sox are kind of out of the mix. And the Dodgers are lurking. They're always lurking. And that the Mets, we're in on Kyle Tucker, and maybe what if that doesn't work out? But where it really started to move was Dodgers go get Tucker. And look, Steve Cohen is tweeting the Thursday night, right? Like about, has anyone seen the smoke? I mean, they were sort of all in on Kyle Tucker.
Right.
They don't get him. They had to pivot. So they pivot to Bo Bichette. And it's, I know what the numbers are, but it's essentially a one-year deal for like $45 million or $47 million. I mean, it's an insane AAV for essentially one guaranteed year. And so the Phillies had to pivot as well. And, look, I think you don't want to mess around because if there is another team out there lurking, and I did see one report that, maybe he had a 3-year offer out there somewhere, maybe not. But, like, if he was talking to other teams as well, you don't want to get caught short, and now you don't have Bo Bichette and you don't have JT Realmuto, and you're signing, your plan B catcher, who was Victor Caratini. So, I think that they kind of made the pivot that they felt like they had to make. Now, I did ask around yesterday, and I said, like, was it strictly an either-or scenario, Bichette or Realmuto? Was there a scenario where you could have done both? What I was told was it was most likely an either-or scenario, but they did have an idea where if they had signed Bichette, they go to JT, see if they can get JT on their terms, and if not, they pivot to Caratini. So, I mean, there was kind of some thought there, but I do think once they lost out on Bichette, it was like, let's not mess around. Let's do what we have to do to make sure that we get JT back.
Scott Lauber, the Inquirer, joining us here on Kincade and Salciunas. So with the Bo Bichette news, when there was all this talk, the next thought was, all right, so they're going to trade Alec Boehm to try to free up the money, much like they tried doing last year. And we already know that he is somebody that's, I'll just say, emotional. How do they clean that up when his name was once again mentioned in all these trade talks, and now it's, we didn't get our guy, so Boehm is back for another year? I'll start there. And also, I'm curious, over under 0.5% chance that Nick Castellanos is on this roster?
I will start with the latter question, and I would say under.
Okay.
There is a 0.0, like Animal House, right, percent chance.
Good reference. Good reference.
So, there's that. On the other question, look, I think it's a little bit similar to last year. And last year they, got to the point where they weren't getting the return that they thought he was worth. So they said, like, remember Rob Thompson had a conversation with him in the offseason and said, like, we value you and this and that, and just because you hear your name out there and yada yada. But it's different in that, like, they had their replacement lined up. Like, they were literally preparing the offer that they thought Bo Bichette was going to accept, because he told them he would. And that was going to spell the end of Alec Boehm. So I think you have the conversation and you tell them, like, look, it's not, what's the Godfather line, right? It's business, not personal. We like you very much. You're a homegrown Philly. But I also think you rely on the fact that Alec Boehm is going to be a free agent after the year. And so if that isn't motivation enough to go out there and have a good year and set yourself up, like, the best scenario for Alec Boehm would be to go out there, have a really good year, have sort of the year he had in 24, the All-Star year, and then set himself up to sort of, if he wants to, then he could turn around and say to the Phillies, bye-bye. Like, remember, you wanted to get rid of me a year ago for someone else? Well, now I'm leaving you. So, like, I don't think a chip on the shoulder motivated Alec Boehm is a bad thing. And if that's how he comes in, if he feels a little hurt by this, maybe it's good, ultimately.
I'm trying to figure out two things. One is, if the projections are right, you're probably missing Zach Wheeler for no less than 6 weeks, maybe 8 or more. And then how are you replacing Ranger Suarez's production? And if I hear that it's Andrew Painter, how reliable a plan is that?
I mean, I think he's a big part of it. It's time. It's time to do it, to just figure it out. I mean, look, I feel the same way with Justin Crawford. I was getting emails and tweets and stuff like that throughout the summer, like, when are they going to call this guy up? He's hitting 340, like, just call him up. And now a lot of those same people are saying, oh, I hope he's ready, and they're kind of, like, worried about it. Well, you've got to find out. And so I think a big part of it is finding out, is Andrew Painter ready to go? And if he's as good as they think he is, and look, I've talked to people outside of the organization who are still very high on him as well. So he's still one of the best pitching prospects in the sport, and it's his time. It's time to find out. So yeah, I think that's part of it. I do think that starting pitching depth is an issue for them. Thought it was an issue for them last year, but they were lucky in that they really sidestepped injuries until Wheeler, which was a huge one, and they were able to kind of weather that a little bit. But they had Suarez at that point. So yeah, I mean, I think that they're out there on the periphery looking around. I don't think that means Framber Valdez, but I do think it means adding a quality, back-end starting pitcher who could maybe help add to your depth. Because right now, they're really 6 deep, including Wheeler, and it kind of drops off after that. And we all know you need closer to 8 or 9. So I do think that they're probably out there looking to add some rotation depth before spring training. But a big part of this is going to be taking the training wheels off and finding out if Andrew Painter's ready.
Do you still view the Phillies as a top contender in the National League, or one of the top contenders in the National League?
Yeah, I do. I think we could have a legitimate debate about, are they better today than they were at the end of the Dodgers series, at the end of last season? That's a legitimate question, and I'm not sure what my answer is to that yet. I think we can talk about that, but I do think that they're still one of the top handful of teams, less than that, in the National League, and should be back there. One question that I ask people who I know in my own life who are Phillies fans who are frustrated is have you been entertained the last few years? They won 95 games, they won 96 games. Those were wildly successful, and I would imagine, if you were a fan, enjoyable regular seasons. They didn't end the way everyone wanted them to in the playoffs. But I go back to, and I don't know if I've told this story on here before, but a conversation I had at the All-Star game with Kyle Schwarber that kind of has stuck with me. And we were talking about, he said, look, I've been lucky enough to be in the league for, now it's 11 years, and he's made the playoffs 10 times in 11 years. And he said, every single time, I can tell you, no matter what team I was on, whether it was the Cubs, the Red Sox, or the Phillies, we felt like we had a chance to win the World Series when the playoffs started, and I've won it one time. And it kind of puts into perspective, sort of the crapshoot that is October. So I'm of the opinion that if you give yourself enough kicks at the can, if you give yourself enough shots, bites at the apple, whatever it is, maybe one of those years you break through. But really giving yourself the opportunity is the best you can do. And then you roll the dice in October. And maybe you can do some things. You can maybe change how you prepare for the month of October. You can change some things about how you get ready for that first series, maybe how you scout for that first series, maybe how you handle a layoff if you have one. But I think you put yourself in position, and I think that they're bringing back the bulk of a 96-win team. They should be a 90s win team again. Would Bo Bichette have made them better? Sure. But I think that they probably would have missed JT Realmuto in a lot of ways as well. They're still very much a team that's built on starting pitching. He's really a huge part of their pitching plan. And, at this point, he's a declining offensive player and probably should bat, in the lower half of a lineup on a good team. And, you should expect modest production. But he's still a very important part of what they do. I think they would have missed him if he wasn't back. And, like I said, I think that they should still be a really good team in the National League.
Scott, we appreciate
Thank
the
you,
time.
Scott.
We're going to talk to you a lot this upcoming season. It's been a roller coaster ride already, and it's not even February. Pitchers and catchers have yet to even report.
That's
Scott,
great detail.
We appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Sure thing, guys. Anytime.
There he is, Scott Lauber.
He is fantastic on.
Oh, he's great.
He's fantastic, and to me, his detail on writing reminds me a lot of McManus. I think McManus is
praise.
To me, McManus is one of the best deep dive reads. Lauber is he's very detailed. Get some really good stuff. I learned a lot there, and on some of the things you see, he's very much lockstep with us, and on others, he's like, look, get to the whole get to October and then see what happens. I guess I'm just over it.
I don't like, and I've been saying that, right? It's not.
I guess
like,
I'm just over that.
You guys have heard me say it for 2 years now, and the guy that I was going back and forth with on social media yesterday, M. Hart, actually responded to me around 7:30 this morning, saying they need to get hot and lucky in October, and I'm tired of that.
Yeah, I don't. Luck is not a strategy.
No, and
it's
getting hot is. I understand getting hot at the right time in all sports. It's not just a baseball thing, right? But the Dodgers are almost like cold proof, right? Because if two guys go cold, they have a deep roster. The Phillies, their problem, and it should always start with Harper, Turner, Schwarber. When two of those guys go cold, the rest of the lineup is not good enough.
How about the DNA?
Alec Bohm admitted it.
Is Alec Bohm clutch?
No.
Is Trey Turner clutch?
No.
There are times where Bryce Harper's been amazing.
Yeah.
He's carried the teams on his broad shoulders. And then there's times where he just goes absolutely cold when they don't throw him strikes.
Right.
Chases
because they have not had nobody to protect him.
Right. I mean, Kyle Schwarber has been terrible the last two postseasons.
Yeah, except for game 1 against the Mets
right.
and game 3 against
and that was
the
one
Dodgers.
hit.
That was one hit.
That one game. I mean, I don't believe this team has a winner's DNA when it comes to winning the
Alec
biggest
Bohm,
games at the time.
A guy that you're going to bring back again, admitted that they get tight.
Yeah, but can you blow up core with these type of numbers and this win total?
Who says blow up?
No, it's not blow up.
No,
You
don't have to blow up.
But the point is, on something nebulous as DNA.
No, you got to go. You have to change the DNA of the team. It doesn't mean you have to blow it up and restart. It means you have to take some pieces and move it. By the way, they could have moved Trey Turner's contract.
You know what? Coming up next,
somebody would have taken a guy with a batting titles contract.
Shout out to Scott Lauber for doing our job for us.
Really good job.
Interesting question. Compare this roster to the way it ended against the Dodgers. Are they better? We'll discuss that next. And you can chime in as well at 610-632-0975. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you will find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means even more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in. You can take a shot on an upset. You can build a parlay that fits the moment. However you play your game, you could do it with FanDuel Sportsbook. We have the conference championships. The Patriots 5.5-point favorites in Denver. The Seahawks 2.5-point favorites hosting the Rams. I think it's going to change as we get closer, so I would probably jump on that 5.5 now. It would be great to see the Jarrett Stidham story.
You think it's going higher?
I think at some point it's going to climb up to to 7.
That Denver defense, it's going to be tough. I'm actually thinking of taking the Denver defense.
You can. I would take the Patriots at 5.5 now before it goes up. Then apply your profit boost. Go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. Just visit FanDuel.com/local. And grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. You got to be 21 plus, present Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-drawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A marquee night for Maxey. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers both back in the win column last night. It feels like it's been a while since we've been able to say that. The Sixers had a 113-104 win over the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Maxey, 8 steals in the game.
Into the left corner, Maxey steals the ball. A career-high 8 steals. The Sixers are going to beat the Pacers. Maxey taking over like an all-star superstar.
And a great call by Tom McGinnis right here on 97.5 The Fanatic last night. He's right, all-star level. Tyrese Maxey also named an all-star starter in the Eastern Conference yesterday. Sixers take on the Suns tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Flyers beat the Golden Knights 2-1 out in Vegas yesterday. Travis Konechny's 2-goal game carried the team on the way to snapping their 6-game losing streak. They're off tonight. College football, Indiana beat Miami in the national championship game 27-21. A great turnaround story for the Hoosiers. The Eagles, they're going to have to turn some stuff around. They're still looking for their next OC. Defensive backs coach Christian Parker is getting interest for defensive coordinator position. So if he walks, that'd be another need to fill for the Eagles. He'll interview in Green Bay this week. We'll talk to Jimmy Kempski about everything Birds coming up at 9:05. This update's brought to you by IHOP. IHOP's value menu is here. Enjoy breakfast favorites like pancakes, eggs, and bacon, French toast with sausage, or a cheesy omelet with pancakes, all for just $6. Go to your happy plates with the $6 IHOP value menu. I'm Connor Thomas for them of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
Hey, you just heard a little promo for the Sixers, who are back in action tonight against the Suns. Second game of a back-to-back, and then they play the Rockets on Thursday. So this is a bit of a homestand that the Sixers have going on right now. It started with the 2 games against Cleveland, then the win last night against the Pacers. Suns today, Rockets Thursday, Knicks on Saturday. We have another pair of tickets to give away for Thursday's game against the Houston Rockets. Yesterday, our contest for you was name a player that you would like to try to see one more time, because it's Kevin Durant. Who knows how many more years left Kevin Durant has, one of the best scorers in NBA history. I just thought of another game to play during the commercial break. And your answer could either be serious or you could let your humor side show.
Okay.
So we're about to talk about what Scott Lauber just said, who joined us in the previous segment. You can watch that again on YouTube. You can hear it on 97.5thefanatic.com.
Scott is so good, by the way, and we really appreciate him joining us.
He was not saying one side or the other. He was just saying it would be an interesting debate if you were to say which team is better, the current constructed Phillies here on January 20th or the way they were when the series ended against the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll discuss that in a minute, but it made me think. Yesterday on post-show headlines, Connor, something that we do every single day. So if you want more, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas, if 6 to 10 isn't enough for you,
except our wives,
we do a 10 to 15-minute post-show every single day on YouTube. There's a channel on the Fanatics account, post-show headlines. Just search it there. You'll find it. And I asked John a question yesterday. I made John take his feelings of the Phillies out of it. If you were to work for the Phillies, I'm curious. I want Connor to give his answer. If you were to work for the Phillies and you're in the marketing department, you're in the social media department, you're trying to push people to buy tickets, because that's what it ultimately always is.
Sure.
Winning is one thing, ticket sales is another. What is your message? What is your slogan to try to get people to buy tickets for the 2026 Phillies after they did not get Bo Bichette and pivoted to JT Realmuto? And a lot of people, regardless of what you think this Phillies team is altogether, a lot of people are upset right now. What would your slogan be for people?
Yeah, it would be 2-part. So you'd have the focus on the league leaders coming back, what Sanchez led the league in, what Schwarber, Turner led the league in. And, oh, yeah, we got that Harper guy. But also, hey, you've been calling for the prospects? They're here. Come see what the current and the future of the Phillies are like at the same time.
Think of this, Connor. Take it further, and you don't have to think of it like cook on this a little bit, because that's something neither one of us.
Yeah, it was going
like that. No, that's more interesting than the ones we came up with. So cook on that.
No,
I
did like yours actually, but go ahead, Connor.
Yeah,
wait, what was yours, Johnny?
No, John's was actually good. It was why I came back.
It was like why I came back.
Like
it was
Schwarber.
It was Kyle Schwarber. So I would have Kyle Schwarber narrating it audio-wise. Why he came back, telling the story. So he sort of would tell the story, but it's Schwarber about why I had to come back.
Yeah, so just unfinished business.
Yeah, but they use the unfinished business already.
Unfinished business part 2.
Part
yeah,
3.
You can't do that.
Part 3.
Yeah,
Part
exactly.
4. Part 17.
Exactly. And it can't be we owe you one like the
No,
Sixers
you can't
did.
do the we owe you one.
One of
Like
these
the
days, we'll
Sixers did.
finish this business, the 2026 Phillies.
So I'm curious. You could actually come up with a serious one. Like if you were like, all right, I'm going to actually pretend like I'm in the marketing department of the Phillies, and this is what I'm going to come up with. Or if you just want to be,
old meets new. Because something like without saying old, but they would never want to use old. But old meets new, sort of like what's like something along those lines. I like Connor. I sort of like how you were spinning it there. So
yeah, we'll see what the people come up with.
Cousin Matt's
Phillies.
going to try to chime in from Florida. He's retired from the Phillies, but he's going to chime in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can make fun of the Phillies. That could also be one of your slogans. So the best answer by the end of the show, either on YouTube, text, social media, phone line, however you want to communicate with us, 610-632-0975. Best answer, we'll get the Sixers-Rockets tickets. MBD already chiming in. We had a Zoom meeting with Bo Bichette, and we checked in on Cody Bellinger. Come to Citizens Bank Park. That's a great answer. We checked in.
There's Okay, let me ask you this real quickly because I saw this earlier today and I was fascinated. What is the most popular birthday in America?
I don't know.
Like pick a date. Do you think is the most popular birthday?
First week in January.
Something in June.
You think the most babies are born on?
Because people want to be
No,
the day.
that's the least, dude.
The day the most babies are born in America.
People want to try to be the first baby born of the year.
September 17th is the day that most babies are born in America.
So fornicating around Christmas time during the holidays, a lot of people are off.
September
Festive
7th
cheer.
September 17th is the first most popular birth date. September 23rd is the third. September 24th is the fourth. October 1st is the fifth. Connor, your birthday's October 3rd.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it's Christmas babies.
Yeah.
It's like babies that holiday parties, holiday cheer, vacation at the end of the year. The weirdest thing is, though, there's a random date in here. So the first 4 dates, again, like 4 out of the 5 dates, September 17th, September 23rd, September 24th, and October 1st. The second most popular date to be born, April 8th. That makes no sense to me. Like, it's just out of nowhere. By the way, Connor, your birthday, October 3rd, is Mean Girls Day, is 183rd most popular day to be born.
Okay.
Andrew, yours is a very not a popular day, 308th.
Yeah, because
December
some
19th.
parents care about their kids.
That's my daughter's birthday also.
Love you, Mom and Dad.
My birthday, one of the least popular days, December 23rd, 349th.
How about that?
Festivus. 349th. So,
how about that?
But all the popular birthdays right around there. So Christmas parties is obviously it, right?
Yeah, a
It's
lot of festive cheer.
A lot of holiday cheer.
Yeah, they listen to Baby It's Cold Outside. And then,
no, they don't, because that's offensive now.
That's true. All right. Is this Phillies team, January 20th, are they better than the Phillies that the final day? When was that? It was the Thursday. It was the Thursday, the Eagles-Giants game. Whatever that date was, when the Phillies got eliminated by the Dodgers. Which team is better? Bullpen, by far, this team.
Easy, yeah.
The January 20th Philadelphia Phillies, their bullpen, and I don't even think it's relatively close because Alvarado is in the mix because Alvarado was ineligible for the playoffs.
Correct.
And that's also, you add Brad
cheat.
Keller. So you have Alvarado, you have Keller, you have Duran. And that doesn't even count guys like Tanner Banks, who had a nice season last year, Kirkering, who will be a sixth inning, very low leverage situation guy.
Yeah, he's usable if nothing counts.
The lowest of leverages, please. So that's advantage 2026 Phillies. Starting pitching, I don't know if I can say this current group.
No, it's last year's. Now, I think Nola's numbers are better this year because they can't be worse.
How much better? Okay, would you have taken the bet? I gave the guy, if he takes the bet, 4.2 or lower, 4.19 or lower, he wins.
No, I'm not taking that bet.
So you don't think it's going to be really good at all?
No, but he'll be usable this year. I don't think he'll, like last year, he was a complete nothing, plus the injury. I don't think Wheeler's going to be far off. He missed a month and a half last year. Like, that's about where the projection is for what he'll miss this year.
Yeah, that's projection is, yes.
I just hope he's okay.
I just hope but there's everything that I've been told is that there's no reason right now that anybody should be thinking that
Sure, no.
things are not okay.
I get that in terms of the science of it.
No, I'm talking about his life.
Right, which is
everything
great.
about his life. But
he's 35 years old.
We have no idea how he's going to pitch after this.
Yeah, he's 35.
And some people never pitch well after this.
Yeah.
They never get it back.
So I'd say 2026 is not advantage starting pitching. It's last year.
And you haven't replaced Ranger.
Yeah, mainly because of the Ranger to Painter and Luzardo. I expect to drop off.
Yeah, I do too. And by the way, Sanchez, it's kind of like the Zach Baun thing, right? Like we were saying, you got to kind of expect Zach Baun to not be like all-pro linebacker the next season. I don't know if I can just sit here and say Christopher Sanchez is going to be a top 3 Cy Young candidate again.
No, but I don't think he takes a drop. I really don't.
I don't think major
So
drop.
you say he's going to be a top 3?
He'll be he'll be top 6. He's really good, and he's got a really repeatable delivery that's not a lot of stress on the arm. His velo has gone up year over year. I feel good about where
I'd say he's going to be a top 10. If you said top 10,
yeah.
If you said top 10, I am signing on the dotted line. Top 6, I think, is even bold.
Is the outfield better?
No. Well,
yeah, I think they are. I really do think they are.
You can't be worse. Like they could be better and they could still suck.
The only thing I like is that Garcia is right-handed.
I do like that. I do believe
Kepler.
that could be better.
And Crawford being there opening day. Remember, Bader was here for a month and change.
Yeah.
Like, you had Rojas and Marsh playing center.
Yeah, but no, it was the day they ended the playoffs. So it was Bader, Castellanos / Kepler, Marsh / who? Weston Wilson? Who played left?
But remember, the day they ended the playoffs, Bader didn't play.
I got you. He was hurt. Brandon Marsh right now is a starting outfielder for this team.
I mean, that's horrendous.
If there's no other changes,
It's horrendous.
He's your starting left fielder. And platooning with who? Otto Kemp?
Most likely.
And
seriously.
So the outfield might actually be worse or status quo, which still isn't good enough.
I can't even I can't imagine.
Love to hear from you on this.
Yeah. No, we would.
I'd say slightly better, but it's very close.
No, I'm going to bet. No, I would, Connor, I'm with you. I would go, I'm expecting slightly better. Because also defensively, I'm going to tell you, I think with 2 new additions, I'm expecting defense to be better. So better.
All right, what's your serious or humorous slogan for the 2026 Phillies if you were trying to sell season tickets? You can climb in at 610-632-0975. But also, if you missed it earlier, it was nice in a stretch of bad days in Philadelphia to see a Sixers and Flyers win last night. And Tyrese Maxey gets announced as an all-star starter. Hear from him next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Mark your calendars now because Benari Jewelers is having their annual bridal bash. That means a lot of guys around Valentine's Day want to get engaged, and Benari has great news for you. So whether you've just started to look around or you're ready to make the final decision about the ring, don't miss Benari's annual bridal bash. It's going on now through February the 7th. What's that going to mean for you? Amazing specials. First off, 12 months special financing on engagement rings, wedding bands, and that's something else too. It's your chance to win $1,000. Benari is the area's diamond experts. They're awesome. And they have a great, fantastic team. And they've got all the top designers, all the big names she knows. If you scanned her Instagram or her Pinterest boards, you would know everything that she's looking for. So maybe she's going to want white gold, yellow gold, platinum, whatever it is. During Benari's Bridal Bash, they're going to make sure that you're saving more. And they're even going to give you 1 year to finance it based on approved financing. It's Benari's Bridal Bash. It's an amazing event, and it's now through February the 7th at 2 spectacular locations, Exton and Newtown Square. I love them both. You can get details on this amazing event at BenariJewelers.com. Guys, this is the time. Are you getting engaged? Are you ready to pull that trigger? Well, you can't do it unless you meet with my friends at Benari because, hey, if you're ready to ask the question, you're going to ask it. Benari is always the answer.
The Fanatic. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Well, I don't think Weston Wilson will be at your media availability anymore, Johnny. As Todd Zalecki
What happened?
just put out a tweet that the Phillies announced the JT Realmuto deal, and Weston Wilson has been DFA'd to make room for the 40-man roster.
Well, then who is going to be at this media availability?
I don't know. In case you missed it earlier, John told us that Christopher Sanchez, Otto Kemp, who was the other player? Rob Thompson, and Weston Wilson were supposed to speak to the media today. I don't think Weston's going to be doing that anymore.
Well, I mean,
just
a guess.
Yeah, being DFA'd.
That's a shame. He probably got his hair done, got a nice shirt ready.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's a part of their
red
their
dress
plans.
won't be there.
I don't think he's a part of their plans. That was a great day. I was at that day. That was that was the no-hitter.
He is a fantastic story. He's a fantastic story. I've only had one conversation with him ever in my life, and he was a tremendous guy, and I wish him the best. But you got to improve your club.
Yeah, he should not be on a playoff team.
No. But look, I admire the hustle, but it's not. No.
He appeared in all 3 games. Like,
it was incredible.
Well, was Bader was hurt, so
right, because Bader got
had to.
Bader got hurt in game 1, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it was wasn't it on the diving play, the great diving play.
Yeah.
Right?
And by the way, news on the Bader front too is that the Bader market supposedly a little quieter than was initially thought. So,
all right.
I mean, I know you say it doesn't do anything for you.
It's not going to change how I totally feel, but I would like to have a center fielder every day that I know will be somewhat of an impact player. I'm not going to buy into him hitting 330 like he did with the Phillies last year, but if it means Crawford, if you bring in Bader and he plays every day center field and Crawford plays every day left field and Adolis Garcia plays every day right field and I don't have to do, well, we like platooning.
No, I'm feeling good about that.
I would feel better.
But we want the platoon at second base, right?
Yes.
Now, Connor, you're in on that too?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're all in on that.
Yeah, anyone who wants Bryce to stop to play every day, you're looking for something that's not
Yeah,
there.
that's what, like, the guy yesterday, and I get it, his Twitter profile pictures was Phillies.
Well, then that's what it is.
But, like, the organization has told you. It's not me, in my opinion, anymore. No. The organization for 4 years has now platooned Bryson Stott in the playoffs, as well as Brandon Marsh.
By the way, cousin Matt retired from the Phillies, but his slogan for the Phillies on our little project here, familiar faces, bigger expectations.
How about familiar faces, same expectations?
Bigger expectations.
My expectation,
raise the bar.
Or demands.
Raise the bar, baby.
We've been talking about World Series or bust for 3 years
We
now.
have been.
All right. What else we got on the text line, Connor? And then you'll hear from Tyrese Maxey after the Sixers win last night, being asked about being named an all-star starter. What do we got on the text line?
All right, so JJ from Pottstown checks in, says 85 to 88 wins is realistic for the Phillies because of the pitching. This lineup without a top 5 rotation is a 75-win team.
Oh, wow. No.
So 85 to 88, what was the least amount of wins to get into the playoffs last year?
You're not getting in at 88.
Who was the final wild card team?
The Cincinnati Reds. I think they had 89. I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, because that's again, if you're saying 85 to 88,
yeah, I don't believe they're. I believe they're better.
That's on the verge of not making the playoffs.
Yeah,
could you imagine?
Like right now, if you said to me what we know about the Phillies today,
they won 83 last year.
From when
83. Oh, my bad.
From when they wait a minute, the Reds won 83 and made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Then that's a miscalculation on my part. If you told me the Phillies were a 96 win club last year, they are not as they don't hit 96 this year.
I don't. Yeah, I firmly
because the Braves are going to be better.
Did you see the Braves news?
Yeah, their shortstops and
Ha-Sung Kim fell on ice in South Korea.
Isn't that incredible?
Tore a tendon in his finger.
That, really?
Yeah, it was going to be in headlines. He's out 4 to 5 months.
That's a huge loss.
It's going to be probably we're talking mid-June.
Okay.
That's a lot.
They have a good team.
They do.
My fear with the Braves last year, they were hurt all year. Now, not a great start that a guy's slipping on ice and getting hurt in January, but that team was hurt all year.
All year.
Are they built on like a burial ground or something?
Yeah, maybe.
No, they're built on like they did the sneaky thing though. They bought They bought all that land by 3 different holding companies so nobody would know they were trying to grab it.
Oh, how about that?
And then they built the complex. So people are pissed about it.
All right, let's hear from Tyrese Maxey. In case you missed it, Sixers win last night, as did the Flyers. It was nice to finally see both teams win, at least a win, and they both won. So they worked in tandem yesterday. Here is Tyrese Maxey after the game with Kay and Ala talking about his All-Star starting nominee.
Congratulations on being named an all-star starter. I know that your goals are team-oriented, right? But what does this mean? Because this has still got to be special.
Yeah, it means that we're winning games. It means that we're winning games. It means that we're stepping in the right direction. Every single night we're going out here and competing. That doesn't always accumulate to win. Sometimes we lose, tough games. But we're playing the right way. We have the right mindset every single time we step on the court, so that's good.
And look, I like the way they've been playing. It's just it's unfortunate the Cleveland games where it's a guard-heavy team, they were not able to stop anybody. And that's a problem with this Sixers team, that they don't really have great perimeter defense. But they do look – I'm not saying much. They look a lot better than they did last year.
They're more entertaining to watch. So
yeah. And they're leaning into the younger players. They're leaning into the run and gun style. They're leaning into the youth and the guards, which is important for Nick Nurse to do.
It entertains me.
And Embiid is still scoring. Like, he still got his last night.
I told you I did it on Pro Show Headlines. I did it on the show last week. I've been a vocal Joel Embiid critic about a lot of things, but I've been applauding Joel Embiid's. Obviously, he's worked his backside off.
Hell yeah, he has, man.
So good.
Proud of you. All right, coming up next, we know
I'm proud of him finally doing it.
We know the reports that A.J. Brown had requested a trade numerous times this past season. How much of an impact against the cap would that trade be? Jimmy Kemsky did a tremendous deep dive on why or why not to trade A.J. Brown. He joins the show next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers break the losing streak. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers, who were on a 6-game skid, found a win last night. Sixers did as well. More on them in a second. But the Flyers, well, they went into Vegas, and they found a 2-1 win. Large thanks to Travis Konechny, who had 2 goals in the game, including this one.
Eichel drags it in. Trapped it on the line. Konechny a breakaway. Short-handed. Travis Konechny, his second of the night. Shoots. He scores! Another breakaway goal by Travis Konechny.
That shorty would put the Flyers up for good. 2-1 victory there in Vegas. They're off tonight. Sixers 113-104 win over the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Maxey 8 steals in the game to celebrate his all-star starter nod in the Eastern Conference. Sixers face the Suns tonight at 7 p.m. at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. You can hear the game live here on the Fanatic. College football, Indiana took home the national championship last night, taking down Miami 27-21. Eagles, well, they're still trying to figure out what they're doing with the new OC, but they might have to fill a position coach as well. Defensive backs coach Christian Parker getting interest for defensive coordinator positions. He'll interview in Green Bay this week. We'll talk to Jimmy Kemsky of Philly Voice coming up next for his thoughts on the potential cap ramifications of trading A.J. Brown and other Eagles news. This update's brought to you by Uber Eats. Philly, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at La Contrachita Food Truck. From now until June 30th, get a buy one, get one deal on select items in the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
some reason, trust this Washington College guy to produce. Charity comes in many forms. Kincade and Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
Earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
I believe that I have the number one thing the Eagles need to fix for the 2026 season to get back to sort of where we wanted to. The number one thing this Eagles team needs to fix is all the drama that they're dealing with, because there's way too much of it. There's way too much. And it started with A.J. Brown during the season, but it wasn't just A.J. Brown. There's weird stuff about Jalen Hurts. There's weird stuff about A.J. Brown. Every time things seem to go poorly, leaks from the coaching staff seem to come out about this guy doesn't want to do that. This guy doesn't want to do that. Don't blame this person. Blame that person. And I just feel like there's been a lot of finger pointing. It's got to stop.
Jeffrey Lurie had to go down to the field and do that with A.J. Brown. The thing is, though, he really did. He went to the field.
Yes.
But what did he do? He coddled A.J. Brown. He treated him with kid gloves. He did the, AJ, he didn't take the stern fatherly
Well, he did get him to
routine.
stop doing the nonsense.
Did. But he's doing like the hug routine and the thing. Instead of doing dude, I pay you a ton of money.
Sure.
You're supposed to act like a professional. Stop acting like a teenager on the internet. You're a grown man. Start acting like it. So that sort of disappointed me. I get your point, though. And your point is right. It's got to stop.
It's got to stop. I mean, there's way too much of it.
Does it only stop by divorce? Does it only stop by saying he's gone? Or can anyone get tough in that building?
Now back to the show.
Obviously, offensive coordinator is a major thing that the Eagles need to fix and replace and find a good option for this team. But I think the drama almost tops all of it, because it started at the beginning of the season in literally week 3 when A.J. Brown was requesting a trade per Joe Santoliquito, and then obviously took to social media not long after that. And then once he finally got told to stop by Jeffrey Lurie, then it was anonymous sources, and some of them didn't even read A.J. It was just people. There was drama all season long because people realized they weren't doing well enough at their jobs. And so what do you do, or not everybody, but what do some people do when they themselves are struggling? They point to somebody else as to why they're struggling. And that's what I felt all season long. We talked about it all season long, regardless of what you think about the media, right? Oh, my God, you guys try to make this a bigger deal than what it actually is. You can't tell me that about A.J. Brown anymore. If it is true, and I'm here to believe what Joe Santoliquito wrote, if it is true that A.J. Brown had been asking for a trade since the first month of the season, then how can you not buy into all the drama that took place this year?
Has any beat writer for the Eagles come out and said this is a false story?
No.
Has any Eagle come out and said this is a false story?
No.
Has A.J. Brown said it's a false story? Has any member of the Eagles brass said this is a false story?
No. Now, we can ask Jimmy Kempski about it, who joins us coming up at 9:05.
I would suggest to you, stop trying to spin that it's a false story. Because people tried to do this to Joe Santoliquito before.
Yeah,
and you look like fools.
And some people went way over the top with it.
Exactly.
Jimmy Kempski wrote a great article on the impact of trading A.J. Brown, what it would do to the cap, what it would do for the team. He joins us coming up in about 2 minutes.
And I swear to you, when I read it, going into reading it, I said, you cannot trade A.J. Brown. It would destroy this team. Destroy their cap, destroy everything. And then I read Jimmy's piece, and he writes it he goes in with the premise of, let's look at it from every angle. And then he actually comes out of it. You go, well, you can, and you can actually get benefit in the next couple years.
Right, kind of like the Carson Wentz trade a couple years ago.
Okay, it would be short-term pain, long-term gain. Like, he is such a thoughtful writer, and he does a great job of finding ways to spin a story where he gives you both sides.
But then the big thing is...
And educate people like me who thought they had the answer, and I didn't.
Big thing would be for the Eagles as to who are you going to try to replace A.J. Brown with, because, again, the window is still open. They did not die last Sunday.
Yeah, and thankfully there's a big draft coming.
By the way, shout out to Scott Moluso on our YouTube chat, Johnny. Listens to the show every single day, but this was his first chance to get a chance to watch on YouTube and join the chat. So another member
That's awesome.
of the YouTube chat community. So, Scott, what you have to do within the next week is just hate us, and you'll be right at home with the rest of the YouTube community. You can text in or call in at 610-632-0975. The Eagles' drama, I believe, is the number one thing that they need to figure out and fix it. And that starts with Nick Sirianni, who is supposed to be really good at this. And I give him credit for it, because Philadelphia, as Connor said earlier, it's a city where we are obsessed with the Eagles, so we look for every single storyline. We read everything, we listen to everything, we watch everything. We know everything that's going on with this team as fans, right? As much as we can know, as much as what's being reported. But that doesn't mean that Nick Sirianni doesn't get credit for being able to keep it quiet, for the most part. But he also deserves to get a little bit of heat for the nonsense that took place this year. All right, joining us now here on Kincade and Salciunas, does a tremendous job covering the Eagles for the Philly Voice. And as you have mentioned numerous times, wrote an incredible article
I learned from this man.
On the aftermath of a trade of A.J. Brown. That, of course, is the great Jimmy Kempski. Jimmy, good morning. How are you?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Hi, Jimmy.
We're doing great. Let's start with the article. We've referenced it a couple times today. We referenced it last week as well. Sort of what would happen if the Eagles were to trade A.J. Brown? We'd love for you to give a synopsis of your piece and talk to the people about dead cap hits pre-June 1st, post-June 1st, and, of course, just the fact that he is one of your better players on this roster.
I wrote that a week ago, so you're testing my memory a little bit here.
By the way, very well done, too.
On all the numbers here, but I'll give it my best shot. So if they were to trade him pre-June 1, hold on, let me take a step back. He counts for about $20 million on the cap this year. $23 million on the cap this year. If the Eagles were just to keep him, play him this year, counts for $23 million. They actually owe him $29. The way the contract is structured, they owe him $29 million in cash this year. They got to pay him $29 million if they keep him this year. If they trade him pre-June 1, he will count on the cap for $43 million. So you're basically trading him, and he counts on your cap for $43 million. It's an increase of $20 million this season on your cap. So that's, a little bit of a hit. Like you don't want to have to take that kind of hit to trade a player. But that's what the outcome would be. Now, if you trade him this year before June 1, next year he's off your cap completely. So from 2027 through the end of his contract in 2029, he will count during those 3 years. If you were to just keep him and he played out the contract, he would count on your cap for $133 million, which is, I think it's $43 million, just quick math.
Sure.
Per year, somewhere in that ballpark, $43 million per year on your cap. That's off the books completely. They're completely absolved of that. You also have to pay them those 3 years. I believe it's $113 million in cash. You don't have to pay him that anymore. So if you were to trade him pre-June 1, it's a rip off the Band-Aid type scenario. And he doesn't count on your cap in 2027 and beyond. It's just 1 year, rip off the Band-Aid, and he's gone. Now, if you trade him after June 1, the dead money cap hit is still $43 million, but $27 million of that can count toward your 2027 cap, and only $16 million would count toward 2026. So people must be bored to tears. Listen to this right now. But like I said before, he counts for $23 million on your cap this year if you just keep him. If you trade him after June 1, he counts for 16. So it actually is a savings this year of $7 million roughly. So can they trade him? Yeah, of course. They can absolutely trade him. Easier to do if you do it after June 1, but possible but painful if you do it pre-June 1. And one other thing I'll add too is dead money is kind of a scary term for a lot of fans. It's the dead money seems like comes across as bad cap management. You're paying for a player that's gone, whatever. That's how the Eagles operate. They don't care about dead money. So I forget exactly what his cap numbers were the last 2 years, but I think it was 11 or something like that in 2024, and it was 17, I want to say, in this past season in 2025. So that's just how they structure their contracts. They they structure them a lot like a mortgage. You get use of with your mortgage, you get use of your house now, and you pay for it down the road. Except with the mortgage, you have to pay interest. You have to pay interest fees. With the NFL cap, you could basically do the same thing, but with zero interest. So the Eagles, kind of do the smart thing in structuring their contracts this way because they pay zero interest on paying, on getting basically, really getting players cheap on their cap the first few years on a contract, and then, kind of paying more for them down the road. But the benefit of that is the salary cap, the NFL salary cap, goes up every single year and substantially.
Right.
Like it's gone up $100 million over the last 5 years. So that they're basically paying for players now, but getting a big discount because they're paying for them later when they have a bigger pool of money to spend. So the idea of dead cap is really all that is. It's just money they already paid players that haven't counted toward the cap yet. That's all it is. It's just money that they've already paid that hasn't counted toward their cap yet. That's all it is. So they're not afraid of them. They almost always lead the league, not lead the league, but they're always in the last 5 years. They've been in the top quarter of the NFL in dead money every single year. And it's not because they sign bad contracts and guys, fail or don't pan out. I mean, they have some here and there, but relative to the rest of the league, they've done a very good job of not paying big money contracts to players that have failed. So the idea of dead cap really is kind of an overblown kind of thing. And yeah, if they want to trade him, if they feel like he's not a good fit anymore, they can absolutely do it.
Jimmy, being around that team as often as you are and seeing what you observe and everything, do you have any reason to believe that this team would not consider moving on from him? And do you think that there is a way that you could see this team being better without him?
So he's a great player, clearly. And I think he's still a great player. Probably the best, in the conversation at least, for best wide receiver in Eagles history. I mean, he's just been awesome. And you look at, what they had before him. Before they had him and Devontae. You're rolling out guys like Jalen Reagor, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Dorial Green Beckham, man.
That's right. Just a cavalcade of disastrous wide receivers. And then when they got those two guys, the offense, boom, just totally took off. They go to the Super Bowl. So you don't want to have a repeat of what they had previously at the wide receiver position. It's a nightmare. And he's been awesome for this team, legitimately great player, all-pro player. So if they do trade him, is it going to hurt? Yeah, and you better have a plan to replace him. So I'm certainly not diminishing what he is as a player. And I think he's still a very good player. Just he looked totally disinterested this year. Just kind of miserable all season. Body language terrible.
So are they worse?
I thought that.
So would they be worse exiting that from the organization? A guy who looks miserable and wasn't maybe giving his best.
And also, I think even more so, the question is, does he want to be here? So I think the Eagles have shown over the years that if a player doesn't want to be here, they'll trade him. They did it with Carson Wentz. This maybe isn't a great example because he wasn't that good of a player, but they did it, last off season with Bryce Huff. If a guy doesn't want to be here, then dead money will not dissuade them from moving on from a player that doesn't want to be here, especially if they can get a pretty good return in draft capital if they do move on.
Jimmy Kemsky of the Philly Voice joining us here to talk about A.J. Brown, to trade, to not to trade. That is the question. So, Jimmy, I'll ask you, there was a report that took place at the end of last week that A.J. Brown had been requesting a trade throughout the season as early as week 3. Curious to see if you heard anything similar, and whether you have or have not, do you believe a trade is almost inevitable at this point? Because you mentioned it. He seemed pretty miserable all season long, and that's from us on the outside, not even being in the locker room.
Yeah, so I hadn't heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did, request a trade to him. I really don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. And, ultimately, if I were to, water gun to my head, if you're saying, are they going to trade him or not this offseason, I think they do.
That's wow. With this Eagles team right now, the up, the down, the up, the down, how much of the up and the down do you place at the feet of the head coach, maybe not having as much control of his locker room as maybe he gets credit for this great culture that everyone talks about?
I think he does put out a lot of fires behind the scenes that we don't see. I don't know if that aspect of, I guess, his his value to the team in his quote unquote CEO head coach role is overrated or not. I don't know. I do know that their offense stunk this year. It's his offense. And I think like Kevin Patullo took a lot of bullets that, probably weren't on him. And what I mean by that is, okay, as a play caller, he wasn't good. Obviously, anyone can see that. There was no play sequencing from Kevin Patullo. You didn't see one play or a set of plays early in the game set up a bigger play later in the game, that kind of stuff. You didn't see any creativity. It was very predictable, et cetera, et cetera. But I think what he got sort of hammered for unfairly was just a lot of the big picture strategic decisions within games. And what I mean by that is, they get a lead. They got leads against Denver, and they got a lead against Dallas. They got a lead against the Bills, and then they just went into ultra conservative mode.
Yeah,
and they wound up losing 2 of those games to Dallas and Denver, and they almost lost to the Bills. And so that's not Kevin Patullo. That's a directive from Nick Sirianni to play conservatively for those games going forward. And then other stuff like end of the first half, they might have the ball at their own 20 or something like that with 40 seconds to go, and then they'll just run a couple give-up runs and take it into the locker room. Whereas you see all teams throughout the league are being aggressive and trying to get points before the end of the first half. I think that's another Nick Sirianni kind of thing where people are blaming Kevin Patullo for that. So yeah, I think there's probably some frustration with Nick Sirianni's offense in particular within the building at NovaCare. But again, I can't really speak too much I'm aware of some flyers that he put out, I guess, but I can't really speak to whether that aspect of his role within the organization is overrated or not. I really can't, but I do know that his offense was not good this year.
All right, so while we have you, speaking of the offense, they need a new offensive coordinator because his buddy KP did not work out, and that's why he is no longer the offensive coordinator. So with everything that you just said, reading the tea leaves and your reporting, will the Eagles hire an offensive coordinator and give them the terminology that we heard last week, complete autonomy of the offense? And how much does the A.J. Brown situation weigh on the mind of the OC that wants the job that may want A.J. Brown as their wide receiver?
I think that any decision on A.J. Brown and a potential new offensive coordinator are going to be totally separate.
Okay.
If an offensive coordinator says, I'm not taking this job unless you keep A.J. Brown, they're not going to listen to that.
Sure.
Howie Roseman that's not going to fly there. What was the first part of that question? My apologies.
Does the offensive coordinator get complete autonomy? I mean, you just said it. The offense, a lot of it is Nick Sirianni's issue with the over-conservative approach, even though he told us in the press conference last week, that's easy to say. We all see it, Nick. So do you believe the offensive coordinator would have complete autonomy of the offense?
Yeah, ideally they could hire somebody with some cachet who can tell Nick Sirianni, get out of my way. I'm running. This is my offense. I'm running it. But they have to hire that guy. So do they get a highly qualified offensive coordinator who has that cachet and has a background and of some semblance of success historically, or do they not? Do they hire somebody who doesn't have that because it's not an appealing job? And we'll see who they eventually hire, and then if that offensive coordinator has some chops, then yeah, that guy will almost certainly be able to run his offense unfettered. But if they don't get a good enough hire, I don't know that'll be the case. You're just going to hand the keys to the offense completely to a disappointing hire. So. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question until they actually make that hire. I think they certainly want to bring a guy in who has that cachet and can tell Nick, get out of the way. But, I think to answer that question, we have to kind of wait and see who the actual offensive coordinator will be.
Really good job.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks,
we appreciate
Jimmy.
it, man. The article was tremendous. Sorry that we made you have to go back to a whole week. Look.
I studied the damn thing. I thought it was great.
Yeah, we should have just had John read the article.
Jimmy, it was the best thing that I've read on that topic. You've done really good work. And there were no stick figures in it, though. I was disappointed.
No.
I like illustrations. So
Jimmy, thanks, man. We appreciate the time. Keep up the great work.
No problem, guys. Appreciate your time.
There he is, Jimmy Kempski. He's
very tall.
He has not heard the reporting that Joe Sanliquido did, or not heard the same thing, but he would not be surprised,
right.
is what he said.
Exactly.
Because we all saw how the season played out.
Correct.
He's a really talented player, though, and what are you going to do without him? Like,
it's not going to be fun.
We're talking championship window. And if you trade away A.J. Brown, you better get a good wide receiver in the draft.
No, you're going to have to.
And you're not getting Justin Jefferson in return.
We're going to go shopping tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah?
Going shopping tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So I've got
for some wide receivers.
We're going shopping for wide receivers tomorrow morning.
All right.
We got the value aisle. We got the expensive aisle. We've got all kinds of.
Dude, this offensive coordinator situation is fascinating.
They may not be able to deliver a top-notch guy because Nick Sirianni's here. Someone may not want to work with Nick Sirianni.
Yeah. By the way, it's kind of clear that the organization wants an offensive coordinator that has complete say.
Absolutely.
Can they get one?
That is the question.
With all these head coaching jobs open, by the way, 10 of them?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some have gotten hired, but
yeah, but there it is.
Crazy.
4 are filled.
Coming up next, we'll check some text line. We'll react to some more of what Jimmy Kempski had to say. Also, one thing I need the new offense coordinator to do is not to call the game like every play might be intercepted. You just heard Jimmy Kempski talk about it. John Kincade has some interesting numbers about this Eagles team versus last year's that won the Super Bowl. That and one more Phillies name that people seem to be tweeting out a lot. My question is, where are you playing him? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, join me Thursday for another fun hangout with my friends at Corona. January 22nd, this Thursday, Casey's in Drexel Hill from 6 to 8. Sixers pregame party. You don't want to miss it. I'll be there getting you ready for tip-off, and we've got great drink specials all night long. Bring the family because you can get a Corona family bucket. $17.50 for your Corona family bucket, the perfect way to kick off your Sixers night. And here's the best part. You could win a pair of Sixers tickets to an upcoming home game. The party that I did on Friday at Knicks, we gave away tickets for last night's game in which the Sixers won. And you would have been able to see Tyrese Maxey have 8 steals. Grab your friends, stop by Casey's at Drexel, hang out with us from 6 to 8 this Thursday night. It's the Fanatic Sixers pregame party hosted by me, Andrew Salciunas, in partnership with Corona. You got to be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly. For more details, visit 975thefanatic.com, and we'll see you there.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers and Flyers bounce back. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and the Flyers both found a win last night. Feels like it's been a while since we've been able to say that, but nice to get back on the winning side of things, and the Sixers did it with a 113-104 victory over the Pacers. Tyrese Maxey had 8 steals in the game. Listen to this great call from Tom McGinnis here on the Fanatic.
Into the left corner, Maxey steals the ball. A career-high 8 steals. The Sixers are going to beat the Pacers. Maxey taking over like an all-star superstar.
An all-star he certainly is. An all-star starter, that is. Tyrese Maxey being named a starter for the Eastern Conference yesterday. Sixers take on the Suns 7 p.m. tonight. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Flyers beat the Golden Knights 2-1 out in Vegas. Travis Konechny 2 goals in the game, including the game winner shorthanded late in that one. So nice to see the Flyers break the losing streak. They're off tonight. Indiana beat Miami in the College National Championship game last night, 27-21. Eagles still in the hiring process for a new offensive coordinator. Could lose Christian Parker, their defensive backs coach. He's getting interest for defensive coordinator positions. He'll interview in Green Bay this week. So we'll keep you updated on everything with the hiring circle, both for and away from the Eagles. This update is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Miss an electrical problem and it can mean big trouble for your business. That's why Napa delivers the parts, tools, and the expertise to catch problems before they become breakdowns. That's Napa know-how. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Now let's listen to more Kincade and Salciunas before I change my mind.
The final hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, we have a lot to unpack this segment. By the way, special guests will be joining us in studio around 9:50 this morning.
What's that?
I went to Ray Dunn during the commercial break, and I said, I need you in here because I need to talk to him about his generation. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad
His
thing.
generation.
Talking
You guys
about
are,
my generation.
you guys are what, like 6 years apart?
Yeah, but it's his generation. I saw a survey this morning on the elevator.
All right.
About alcohol consumption versus gambling for Gen Z.
Oh.
So we will talk to Ray Dunn, see if we can get to the bottom
because you're
of
a
this.
millennial, right?
I'm a millennial, yeah.
You are a millennial.
I have my own set
and
of
I don't
problems.
consider you, I got to tell you, I don't consider you or Connor millennials.
Well, Andrew's a boomer.
Yeah, I am.
No, but I mean, I don't consider either one of you millennials.
But Ray will come in. We'll talk to him around 9:50 before we hand things over to Middays with Marks. Johnny Marks. Ray Dunn will be in the hosting chair
Ooh.
today. Patricia Caputo will be producing this show today.
Wow.
All right, real quick Phillies thing. Again, we have a lot to unpack here. So Dave Dombrowski will speak to the media today.
Got a good club.
Weston Wilson got DFA'd, so somebody had to step to the podium because for whatever reason, Weston Wilson was supposed to talk today.
No, this is Real Muto's contract is the real reason.
Yeah, but why was Weston Wilson supposed to talk today? Nobody can answer that question for me. So you will get the JT Real Muto. We're so happy to have him back press conference today.
I bet JT will be a bag of laughs, too.
JT will be there. Rob Thompson will be there. And Dave Dombrowski will be there. And I'm curious how much of the questions will actually be about JT Real Muto.
Get lots of cuts from JT Real Muto. It'll be
like, is this a Howie Nick press conference where Nick's there and Howie's getting asked all the questions?
I think so.
Because JT got signed and it's like, all right, we know you already. Hey, Dave, what happened to Bo Bichette? What's your next plan? Are you happy with this good club that you were celebrating 96 wins with? But your city, the fan base that follows this team, majority, I would think, are upset with the way it is shaping up.
Yeah, like can we hear about those things?
So
I
Dave
think that'd be
Dombrowski
fun,
speaks
yes.
to the media today around 10 o'clock. Speaking of the Phillies, I saw this on social media a lot this morning.
What's
I guess
that?
people are just trying to cope as much as they can with this offseason. A lot of people asking for the Phillies to sign Eugenio Suarez.
What?
Where is he going to play? He's not playing first base because you have Bryce Harper. He's not going to DH.
I had thought he had already signed with somebody.
No,
I'm wrong.
he's still out there. And people are wondering because he's still out there, can you scoop him up? But then what? So you play him, what, you're going to sign for third base?
For what?
Yeah, then you'd have to trade Bohm.
And then we're back to this again, which, look,
How
that was
old
part
do
of
you
their
wanna
plans.
get?
Well, it'd be he's not going to sign a multi-year deal. It would be a one-year deal, and you're hoping for power, but you're basically relying on the power. I wanted him at the trade deadline last year because you know how little I think of Alec Boehm's power surge that we're still waiting to see. But I don't know. That's a 1-year Band-Aid?
I don't get it.
It's also not happening.
How old,
Yeah, I don't see it either.
How old do you want this team to be?
Well,
For God's sakes.
It's 1 year. The age doesn't really matter at that point.
As long as he's providing power.
Right.
But, you know.
The team, I'll spoil it for you, Phillies fans, the rest of the offseason. The team is what they are. There are no splash moves coming. There's nothing crazy happening. Suarez, Bellinger, any of these guys.
Yeah, no splash.
You're not buying Valdez.
They'll get. I mean, look, who knows if they get Bader or not? Like, I think they need another outfielder unless Rincones is like a part of their plans, a guy that's been in the minor leagues, and Otto Kemp. You know, I know Johnny Marks, Mr. AutoZone out there, but
that's a good one.
I don't believe it as much. All right, so we just had Jimmy Kempski on, and we were talking about the next offensive coordinator, and he says, look, Kevin Patullo definitely deserved a lot of his share of the blame because he could not think 2-3 steps in a row. You never saw
never set anything
You never saw
up.
a drive, like a drive where you were like, wow, what a masterclass of coaching. It was they out-talented teams sometimes in order to score points. But he did say in those games where they blew the lead in the second half, a lot of it was the over-the-top, careful approach. And that is a Nick Sirianni thing. He just prides himself on the turnover battle so much. And I understand it. You guys have heard me say this 100 times. more turnovers equals bad. Less turnovers equals good. But when your life depends on it, and you also make play calls based off of it, I think that hurts you. Not taking shots downfield. It makes your offense more predictable. The defenses know what you're going to do with your hitch routes and your inside zones. It's a very easy offense to try to figure out. So you have numbers about this Eagles team versus last year.
It's incredible to me when I did a little bit of a dive yesterday. Dork Boy was, after Willow stabbed Drew in the neck on GH, I was a little stunned, so I looked at some other things. Do you know that the Eagles, last year as the Super Bowl champs, were plus 11 in the turnover margin? And I had no idea. I said to myself, I wonder how bad that they backslid in that. And then I looked and I'm like, okay, they were still a really good team in the turnover margin. They were plus 6, which still put them in the top 10 teams in football. But they had 21 takeaways this year, which is just 5 less than last year. So I'm like, okay, they really didn't miss that much. I would say C.J. Gardner-Johnson being missing, you could probably look at like he was a little bit of a ball hawk that took that away. They only threw 2 more interceptions than last year, despite throwing 4 in one game.
In one game, yeah.
That, to me, is the absolute definition of why this offense is too conservative. So that's one thing where I'm going to be critical of it. You threw 4 interceptions in one game, and all year long you only threw 2 more interceptions over the course of 17 games. You only had 2 more than in your Super Bowl winning season. But it also shows us, interspliced, that Jalen Hurts, with his ability to protect the football, is, to me, I look and go, wow, Jalen Hurts throwing 6 interceptions is, to me, look at this past weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was horrible.
I mean, C.J. Stroud and the turnovers from Josh Allen and
yeah.
the turnover. I mean, C.J. Stroud and even like everybody celebrating. We saw a great game in Chicago. It was absolutely awesome. But Jalen Hurts' protection of the football, it doesn't need to be mocked. It doesn't need to be like downplayed. Him not turning the ball over does matter.
Yeah, but you know why it worked last year and it didn't this year?
Because of the running game.
That's all it is.
And that's what it is.
And I said it all year.
What it is.
If I could hang my hat on the ground game like I did last year, then yes, you don't want to take these unnecessary risks and unnecessary shots downfield when I know Saquon Barkley could bust out a 30-yard run on a given play. But they did not have that this year. For all the people that would say, Andrew, stop being so negative because we were having the same conversations about the offense last year, bull. We weren't having the same conversations.
We were not having these conversations.
We were wondering if they ever needed to throw, would they be able to? And I said yes. But ultimately, the team was built on the rushing attack. This year, they still played as if they had the same rushing attack, and they didn't. And that's why when you do this very careful offense, you're not going to score points.
I've heard our compadres in the afternoon. I've heard Bill make the point a few times is, do people remember what we were saying last year about Kellen Moore?
Yes, I remember.
We were never saying that discussions about Kevin Patullo didn't sound anything like the discussions about Kellen Moore. I will be honest. I was complaining about the fact is I wanted to see Kellen Moore's offense look more like it looked this year in New Orleans, that it looked more like it looked in Dallas. I wanted to see more of the motion. I wanted to see more of his creativity. It absolutely tells me that Nick Sirianni stifled that creativity. But the running game was so superior, it worked.
Yeah,
it worked.
It was fantastic.
And the passing
game, they could rest on that. They were not able to rest on that at all this year. And when they needed a spark, they could not think of one. Again, I don't need Jawan Jennings' touchdown passes to Christian McCaffrey, but you saw a Niners team that was desperate, right? George Kittle's out.
No, they were desperate.
George Kittle's out. They don't have a wide receiver. Ayuk's nowhere to be found. Ricky Pearsall, right? These guys are nowhere to be found. So they were desperate, and they came up with a plan. The Eagles did not have that in their bag. The Eagles didn't have a bag. They had the see-through bag that you need to bring to Lincoln Financial Field, and that was predictable because
the kind
they could
you can't
see.
get in Jersey.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
so
the
you
issue.
get them in my neighborhood, you can't in yours.
The thing you got to think about is the big gap between where they were last year as like this great running offense and where they were this year. They were 18th in the NFL in rushing yards per game. I think even conservative Jalen Hurts, if you can get that top 10, it's a totally different season.
It's a totally different
They
season.
don't have to have a Saquon 2,000-yard year. They just need to be able to run the ball effectively to the level of their
They
talent.
need to be able to get first downs.
Yes.
They weren't able to do that this year.
And to this, it's all the OC and then by proxy, the head coach whose offense it is.
Yeah, because he wants that kind of approach.
Tell me, if I had said to you that Jalen Hurts, if I had said to you, how many interceptions did Jalen Hurts have this year, what would you have guessed?
8.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have known that he threw 4 in one game and threw 6.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Takes care of the
That's
ball.
incredible. He takes care of the ball. And then you watch honestly, the Three Stooges this past weekend out there throwing the ball to the other team over and over again. And we complain about the one game in his career that he looked like crap that Monday night.
People were ready to ship him out of town.
That Monday night.
Which I thought a lot of people overreacted to
how
that.
bad he was that one game when these other guys are doing that on divisional playoff weekend. That's incredible.
All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line. Also, a major lifestyle change for a generation, John. We'll have Ray Dunn in studio
I
with
can't
us.
wait to hear this one. Is Ray going to stop smoking?
We'll see. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, live betting is always better when you're on the BetParks app. The BetParks app is absolutely awesome, and live betting makes watching the games even more fun. Tonight, you got Philly 1-point home favorite versus Phoenix, who's in visiting. So if you like your local hoops, then get in tonight on that. Now, how about this one for this weekend? Right now, New England, 5-point road favorite at Denver. That is the morning line, 5-point. You want to get in? Do it now. Los Angeles, 3-point road dogs at Seattle. That one a little tasty to me. Think about that one a little bit there. Remember, they were up by 16 in the fourth quarter last time they visited Seattle. You can bet touchdown scores, bet individual player performances, passing, rushing, and more. You get up to $1,000 in casino bonus back if you're down in your first 24 hours on that BetParks app. Plus, an additional $50 casino bonus on Triple Cash Eruption, the hot slot game. BetParks, the only app I recommend to you. You can play slots. You can bet on sports. It's absolutely awesome. Got to be 21, Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan. BetParks.com has all the details. Should you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Kincade and Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m. Middays with Marks, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And unfiltered from
Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Yeah, Middays with Marks coming your way at 10 o'clock. Dave Dombrowski, JT Realmuto, and Rob Thompson will speak to the media around 10 o'clock. You'll hear some of the clips on Middays with Marks today. Hopefully people ask Dave Dombrowski about the state of the Phillies and not just the state of JT Realmuto. So we have a pair of Sixers tickets that we're giving away for Thursday's game against the Rockets. Our little side quest for you. To text in your answers at 610-632-0975. Whether you want to be serious about it or humorous about it, what would your slogan be for the Phillies as you're trying to get people to buy season tickets? What are some answers that we got on social media or on the text line, Connor?
Mike C. from Logan Township says the young and the veterans for the Phillies.
I sort of like that one.
Okay.
Who could have guessed John would have liked that
Victor
one?
Newman would like that one.
Rich checks in, says built by experience, fueled by youth. A little bit more of a serious one there.
It's good.
All right. This next texter, no name on this one, but they say, in case you missed it last year, relive it and watch us come up short again.
I kind of like that one the most.
Oh, who would have guessed?
Stop it. The young and the veterans is winning me over.
Well, of course it's winning you
No, but
over.
it's a good balance on the message.
All right.
You could do some fun with it.
Who that was Mikey C?
Yeah, that was.
All right. So
I think Mikey wins.
So
Mike C. I know Mikey C at ESPN.
Yeah,
So
we
Mike
do. Mikey C smokes
he's
a lot.
Great. He's a good guy though.
He's a great guy.
Mike
like
C.
Ray, he smokes a lot.
Will win our pair of Sixers tickets for the game Thursday night, January 22nd at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Get single game tickets at Sixers.com. Sixers Rockets that night.
You think you set me up for that to win by using
Probably.
something to play off the young and the restless?
That's basically know the show.
It could be.
Although I did like MBDs, but MBD lives in Florida, so he wouldn't be able to
NBD
make
couldn't
it.
do it.
MBDs was funny. All right, Ray Dunn is here. Ray,
Good morning. How are you?
Are you
Hi,
excited to
Ray.
hear Dave Dombrowski?
Oh, thrilled. I can only imagine this is going to go really, really well for all of
Originally,
us.
it was supposed to be Weston Wilson, but he got DFA'd today, so now Dave Dombrowski is speaking.
So I heard you say that. Was he supposed to
Yes.
speak with the Martin Luther King initiative they did yesterday?
No idea.
I don't
I don't know who was supposed to. I don't know why Weston Wilson is gonna.
That's the only reason I could see it is he was the guy in town. They were like, we have this event we're doing. You are going to do the event. It's one of those thanks for being here. Thanks for being in the area.
Yeah,
You're going to talk on our behalf.
I was really
brutal day for Weston Wilson. Truth.
Really confused by that. But no, it will now be the Dombrowski, Rob Thompson, JT Realmuto show because JT got the extension.
It's going to be a bag of laughs.
That nobody wanted. So you'll hear some of that on Middays with Marks. But what I'm more not concerned about, actually kind of concerned, depending on the topic.
What's that?
So I saw on our trusty elevator, they have the little screen that gives
Love
us
that screen.
news.
I read it every day.
I avoid conversation with that screen consistently.
It's great. And sometimes it gives us surveys. And there is a recent survey about you Gen Zers. You are a Gen Z man.
That's correct.
You do not fall in this per se, but 20% of Gen Z individuals are saying they are done with alcohol or barely drink alcohol. Now, I know you don't
I
fall.
am, yes. I'm done with alcohol until about 9 o'clock tonight.
You are of the 80%.
Yes.
That is not done.
How many are done with it?
20% of Gen Zers.
Wow. I mean, thinking about it, there are quite a few people I know that have decided to, hang it up.
And not dry January,
Really?
like full-on cut ties.
Like full on, don't do it?
Yeah, they're like, I just feel healthier, feel better. And I mean, that's good for them.
No,
I can't really relate on that
ultimately,
one.
That's a good thing, right?
I don't.
But I also know that your generation,
Right.
is, and John, you
I
talk
have
about
one.
but you talk about this a lot. Aren't as outgoing. Again, not you, because you are very outgoing.
They are not
I'm
as
very
outgoing.
shy.
But
yeah.
but why? Like, what is it? Is it the COVID thing?
COVID was part of it.
Is it this? The
I think
the
it's
cell
this.
phone?
I think it's a lot of the cell phone. It's like I'd rather say something over the phone than say rather text it than talk over the phone. I think for a lot of people, and I think that just extends to social situations.
Like,
where
I
it's
worry about your generation.
I do too. I worry about myself in this generation. We're a weird group. We are messed up, man. I don't know what's going on with us.
I know what's funny is that the look of I've had a couple with the students. Is I say phones, everybody up, phones on the corner of the desk in class.
Oh, then you're just itching for it.
They're itching.
What's good is that you can watch them.
Yeah,
like,
no, you
like
fidget.
sort of squirming.
You're terrified with
They're
that.
so used to having their phones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't touch your phones. And it's a attachment. But how the COVID thing too though is I love hearing that though. I love hearing. I don't drink a ton. So, but I love hearing that.
What, that there's the drinking
That 20%, yeah, I think that's great.
I mean, yeah, that's good for everyone. I feel like I'm kind of carrying the weight for us.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I feel like I've got the economy kind of on my back at this point.
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
I don't drink on random Tuesday, Wednesdays. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I can't relate to that.
Right,
It's a lifestyle choice on that one.
Yeah, but when I was your age, I did.
Right. I like to
That's
think
different.
every time I leave the apartment, my roommate's like, "Where are you going?" I just say I'm going to pay a bartender's rent. You know, it's my
That's nice of
contribution
you.
to society.
It's nice of you. So the story in the New York Post, because they reached out to the survey and they did a whole story on it. 61% of Gen Zers have experienced a decreased interest in consuming alcohol since first trying it. They're predicting 32 years old to be like the age where people are like done. 23 is the age where they're seeing people are disinterested.
Okay, so also less interested than when you first tried it. I mean, I think everyone goes less interested from when you first or
Well,
most.
no, you're
like,
kind of excited when you
yeah,
first
you're like, oh wow, like.
But then you're also trying crap, and then when you get older, you experience different things.
I guess.
Now, here's where I'm even more concerned. So your interest in alcohol is plummeting, which, again, for health purposes, that's great.
Yeah, good for us.
Gen Z,
but good for everyone else.
In 2025, made up of more than 30% of sports bettors.
So,
and not just online, also going to the casino.
And by the way, girls too. My daughter bets
50,
and her friends all have sports apps.
50% of sports bettors in 2025 was a combination of us, Gen Z and millennial. But Gen Z is skyrocketing,
right? Because we are the get rich quick scheme. You know, we are the influencers that feel like we could just we're interesting enough. We also think we're smart enough on that. There's a lot of youthful ignorance with all this. I think it's like, oh yeah, I could absolutely outman the books. What does Vegas know? I'm smarter than the books.
I'm going to tell you about Ray's generation, though. They're also saving more than your generation.
Not on sports betting.
I was
they're
going to say,
saving more.
Again, that's another great portion of Gen Z that I'd like to be a part of. I love that.
Very well. Get out of media.
Yeah.
Get out of the media.
I just, I'm concerned because you guys don't go out and you're betting all your money
By the
away.
way, too.
I do go out and I can't gamble.
By the way, I did too. Less sex too.
Well.
Healthy no comment on that one, folks.
Because they're on their phones.
Because nobody's going out.
Right, you're not meeting anyone.
Yes.
This is the longer segment than what I have time for.
God bless you, Ray. We love you.
Yeah, I'm meeting people. Don't worry.
And I can't wait to hear the show today.
Yep. Middays with Marks comes your way next. Does Dave Dombrowski tell us we have a good club?
I bet he does.
Absolutely. That's a bet worth making.
Oh, absolutely.
We have a good club.
The Dodgers come up.
Yeah, probably the second
10,000.
answer. All right, tomorrow's an Adam Schefter Wednesday.
And we're going shopping for wide receivers.
Well, we might have to, especially if they trade A.J. Brown, because it just kind of feels inevitable at this point. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Middays with Marks comes your way next. They'll react to a lot what Dave Dombrowski has to say. Hopefully we feel better. We'll see. Talk to you tomorrow.